All right, good Monday morning, everybody. Back to work we go. This is I was thinking about this driving in. This is the first time I've been in studio in like almost 2 weeks.
This is the first time I've seen you with my own eyes in person.
Hasn't
changed much.
We're not looking at each other through a computer screen.
No, you're not looking at me through my crappy computer camera that I clearly have to get. And I clearly have to get a new one of.
You know what? I think I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
What, a camera?
No, not anything. Not anything on that level of electronics. But I think I'm going to get you some nose hair clippers. Because all I see is when we do remote shows is I'm looking up at your nose.
I trim a little. I don't have the trimmer, but I don't.
Why don't you get the trimmer? Everybody's got the trimmer.
I know. I got.
Everybody does manscaping these days. It's a very big business.
They do manscaping.
Yeah. Like there's some things like John Baylor and I almost invented Rivals before Rivals became a thing in the 90s. I wish we would have jumped in on the bottled water thing. I wish I'd have jumped on the manscaping thing.
Were you and John sitting together and you're like, John says, look, Gary, what we need to do is we need to create a newsletter and where we get all the recruits' information all in one centralized device. And we go ahead and we can disseminate to people. And that way they know who's coming to their team and what they should expect. And you go, but John, I've had a really tough time of shaving my lower extremities.
No, because back then in my age, I really didn't think about manscaping.
Was manscaping? When did manscaping become a thing?
No, for me, it became a thing when I started to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
That's one thing Walt Sharp didn't teach me. Okay, I didn't have an older brother to go, hey, let me pull you aside. But John Baylor, by the way, celebrated a birthday last week, a milestone birthday for the voice of Nebraska volleyball.
35 again.
Him and I are going to be hanging out in Kansas City in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be staying in his hotel room.
Is there
Final Four?
Are you guys, or are you going to the Final Four, or is the Omaha men's basketball team happen to be in Kansas City?
No. Well, I'll be there. I told him, he goes, yeah, sure. We're going to spend some time in Kansas City, but happy birthday to JB. Celebrated a milestone birthday last week. So he brings this up all the time that he told me, he goes, man, you love recruiting. Because this was like in the mid 90s. He goes, you love recruiting. You're like on a first name basis with Max Empfinger and you get the newsletter. And he goes, let's start something. He goes, I'll find the funding. He goes, you just do the legwork. And I was like, I got a lot of things going on, JB. Yeah. So, we missed a thing there. But
you were like, I don't think that'll last. I don't think that's got the legs that you
We'll call it Rivals. No, that's a terrible idea.
Scott Baylor the type of guy that's always coming up with new business ideas? Was he that type of friend? Because I feel like we all have that type of friend.
He used to. And then, his on to college business is a monster. It is a monster business. But, he would throw ideas my way. I just didn't have the I would say the gumption back then. I was interested in other things other than
you were doing some fun.
You gotta have to pay to play Voice of the Hustlers type things.
That kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I have a friend Jack. He's always looking for apps. He'll always text me.
To invest in or just
to make
download.
No. He's like he'll be
Who makes apps anymore? When the app for this radio station was so huge.
Well, the app.
People watch this on TV now.
They do.
Or a TV station.
TV. But he always comes up to me. He goes, Matt, I got a great idea for. I think you would be able to do your own makeup. I think you've had.
No. If we're gonna be a full-fledged 1620 The Zone TV, I think we need to have like makeup artists.
I probably need to stop wearing a hat if we're gonna do a full 1620 The Zone TV.
You're gonna end up canceling a whole bunch of the people that work here.
You've completely just gone into the look. I'm kind of you're a little you've
say
losing
it. Say it.
You've losing your hair. You're losing your hair.
I'm not losing my hair. I'm not losing hair. I'm just not growing hair.
Okay.
That's the best way to look at it.
Difference?
Yeah, there is a difference. Thank you.
I'm still very insecure about the fact that I am losing my hair.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
Your lettuce looks terrible. I'm just going to say that.
That is so rude of you to say.
No, even you said it. So why is it rude if I say it? Because you say it.
Because no, it is rude if you say it. You're supposed to pick me up. You're supposed to say, hey, Matt, no, you're fine.
Okay. I'll pick you up here. That's a good looking hat today.
Thank you. You own this hat, so I know that you like this hat.
All right, I have to tell you that this is first of all, December is here.
Yeah,
it is 4th and Cyber Monday. It is Cyber Monday. I don't know if that's still a big thing because we all live on online anyhow. I got to tell you, so we haven't been on the air since Wednesday.
New things have happened.
Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Saturday, Small Business Saturday, and then yesterday. Hello, SEC. It just reminds you that how great a job it is to be a fired football coach.
Oh God.
But I have to, like, everything that has gone on, I have looked forward to getting back into the studio and discussing everything that has gone on, because it seems like when you have a handle on, okay, this is what we're going to talk about, something new happens. Like
Sure.
last night, the NFL game, which the first 25 minutes were like,
Yeah,
and
it
then
got
the rest
good
of it-
after I went
then
to
the rest
bed.
of it was insane. And I'm still trying to figure out, did we wait 11 years to properly pronounce Marcus Mariota's name? What was Collinsworth doing? What was Tirico doing? And does Mariota know his own last name? Because that threw me off the entire night.
What were they calling? I was
So-
on by the way, for people
Yeah,
who don't
you were
know,
on a plane.
I was
back
on a
to
plane the
Omaha.
entire time, and I was on the worst part of the plane where you were in the in-between of being on the tarmac and
Yeah.
being connected to the Wi-Fi. So I was getting notifications
Yeah.
as to what was going on, but I wasn't able to read or to watch anything that was going
Yeah.
on. So I landed to go, oh, Mark Scoops is fired. I had no clue.
If you're just waking up, Mark Stoops is fired.
Mark Scoops is fired.
I think he wanted to be fired. That's okay. There's some people that want to get fired in their job. I did when I worked at the Urbandale Pharmacy.
Sure.
I hated that job and I wanted to get fired. And
Yeah.
so there were some things I did that, yeah, okay, you're in a gots to go situation, but they would never fire me. And
Would
so
you do the anti-George Bailey?
I just quit.
Okay.
I didn't show up one day. I
That'll
think
do
Mark
it.
Stoops wanted to be fired, but of everything that went on. So yeah, so that adds to it. Like Kentucky is like the person that shows up late that is drunk at the bar, and they're like, "Oh, everybody's doing that. Let's do this."
Sure.
So they fire their football coach, and they
That's
owe
the
him
way of looking at
$37 million. And that's on the heels of everything else that went on in the SEC yesterday. But then you have the NFL game. But they, how on Sunday Night Football they announced their names, their
Yes.
starting lineups.
Okay.
Mariota for the first time went with a hard T.
Okay, so I
Mariota.
was hearing that.
Yes. So Collinsworth started saying that because, Mariota was pretty good last night.
Yeah.
But Tirico pronounced it like it has been pronounced for about 11 years. And so it threw me off the entire time. But that's the way that last night finished. But I will tell you, like, the whole weekend, and we're going to talk plenty about what happened on Black Friday, because there's lingering stuff from
There's
Black Friday
things
that
to
will
talk about.
will take us until Nebraska goes to the Las Vegas Bowl on the 31st of December,
Mhm.
and they play Utah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Is
Who knows?
the one thing that the time away and all the football that went on,
Okay.
and there was some basketball mixed in there as well.
Mhm.
The net rankings come out today. Where will Nebraska be ranked?
Top 5.
Top 4.
What will the discussion be a week from today after Nebraska Creighton? But the football, the NFL, but most importantly, the college football that we care so much about, it just reiterates to me, to you, Jimmy, everybody else, how much we love the sport of college football because of the drama and the passion. Where what other sport on the face of this earth are you going to get Lane Kiffin, who is going to LSU? I could be a headline writer. Geaux.
There you go.
Ing.
Nice.
That's what it should be in the Advocate, the Baton Rouge newspaper. And I only know that because I was in Baton Rouge last week.
Right.
You shouldn't have admitted that, by the way. You should have just been like, I just know what all the local.
If you listen to the
newspaper
show,
names
I
are.
think
though,
I
you know.
do. I think I do. I still love reading newspapers, and I'm very disappointed when I go to a place and they don't have a newspaper. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to read the Miami Herald the other day.
Were you pissed when you were like at a diner and they didn't have the box that you have to put a quarter in to open it up and go ahead and get a
I
paper?
don't even see those anymore.
I know.
Like
That's
I walked
disappointing.
my regular 10,000 plus steps I get every day. I
Humble
walked
brag.
specifically to a place and they didn't have newspapers. And I was like,
What are we doing?
yeah.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think your greatest party trick.
I
would
went
be-
to Speedway,
Okay,
which
I
is
was gonna say,
a
Herald's a good
is a-
paper.
yeah.
I
I
think
didn't have
I've-
newspaper.
I've told you this before. Your greatest party trick is your ability to name athletic directors. Like I
Yeah.
think that you should go to a party with a bunch of sport people and just start naming as many athletic directors as you possibly can.
I don't know if
I think you could get
Mm.
out of the 64 Power 4/5 teams. I think you could get 60.
I don't think that's way too high.
Every
I bet I
time I
could-
ask you for an AD,
Yeah.
you go,
I could probably get half. I could get half.
that's still impressive.
I mean,
I
like,
think
you
I
know,
can get 5.
but I know athletic directors because of things they do.
Right.
Like Ross Bjork 2 years ago tried to hire Mark Stoops at Texas A&M, and now Mark Stoops is out of a job. But all the stuff with Kiffin going on yesterday, that it's such a great sport, and there's so much passion that we all have for a particular program, and we do Saturdays great, the pageantry that comes with it. Sunday through Friday, it is a gong show when it comes to college football. But there's so much passion that in Oxford, Mississippi, where the speed limit, by the way, is 18 miles an hour all throughout the town as a tribute to Archie Manning.
Okay.
That's a
good
true
one.
story. But you had a woman who went to the airport. You know, this is how Kiffin is ending. Lane Kiffin doesn't know how to say goodbye. That's
No.
basically kind of what this is.
Yes, don't do what he does when you leave a job.
But but he just doesn't know how to say goodbye.
He's Lane
A lot of
Kiffin.
us don't know how to say goodbye. But that a woman would be so angry at Lane Kiffin, where like 2 weeks ago they were very, very excited because now they're 11-1. They're going to host a playoff
Yeah.
game. It's great. This is the greatest time ever at Ole Miss for football. That you would pick up your kid, dress them, and take them to the airport. That you would stand outside of a fence and catcall and give the one-fingered salute to Lane Kiffin, who
Hell yeah.
who can't even see you, but you are holding your kid in one arm, and you're like, "You're terrible." I love that. I love that. That's what makes the sport so great: the passion, the drama, and the fact that I wake up this morning and I have an 8-paragraph email
Whoa.
about somebody disassociating with Nebraska football because it is bad for their health.
I believe it.
And at this point in their life, they have to look out for their health. I love this person. Most people will not like the email because I'm going to read part of it.
I love it.
I love the sport. I love this. And I've looked forward since Friday at 3:30 to being back in studio to talk about today. So good to see all of you as we talk to you on the morning after Lane Kiffin is following the Ed Orgeron plan. USC,
Sure.
Ole Miss, LSU.
What do you think of them leaving his clothes out?
It's what makes the sport so great. Pettiness. Pettiness is what drives the world. Hate and pettiness. Now, I know you're supposed to be nice and it's now the holiday season.
Sure.
But think about this. Like in sports,
Yeah.
rivalries. We just had rivalry weekend. There is hate and there is pettiness. And that's what drives things. And that's why we love the sport so much. And the sport won't go away, that we can talk about it 365 days a year.
Did you see the video of Ryan Day telling Sharon Moore, "Hey, if we're gonna not get in trouble, you got to get your players out of here"?
Yeah.
And Ryan Day has his back turned towards Sharon Moore, and Sharon Moore is giving him the biggest stank eye ever because he's like, "Don't tell me what to do," but he didn't want to say that to Ryan. So Ryan's back is turned, his eyes, you know, the look I'm talking about, the looking back, the one extra, the pettiness. It was great.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you left?
That rivalry, as we know it, is over.
Because Michigan didn't win?
Because Sharon Moore lost.
Yeah.
And now it's like, uh-oh. So
I don't
the
know if it's
rivalries are built on coaches. The rivalries are built on coaches and the hate between coaches. There is the hate between the fans, but think about the great rivalries that have been built up. Like I'm watching the Iron Bowl, the craziness that happened and the balls that were on Kellen DeBoer on Saturday night. That has been built up because of the coaches.
Sure.
The coaches going at each other. Now, they happen to be in the same state, so that has a lot to do with it. You know, houses divided, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is like hate and pettiness in college football. But coming back to what happened on Friday, here's the thing that will make a lot of people angry about Friday. And yes, 40-16.
That makes me angry.
But
that's enough.
But here's to lose again to Iowa. So that's 11 of 12 years. And Nebraska has lost to Iowa. I don't know, this is me personally, that I can get angry and riled up at Iowa and wonder, well, will Nebraska ever stop getting embarrassed in this game? Because at this point, the late season collapse, and it was a collapse, offensively and defensively. You can say that Dylan went down, but there's a lot of teams that battled some adversity in the month that either you're finished or you finish.
Yeah.
Just the late collapse by Nebraska. I can't even be upset at Iowa, okay? I can't be upset at going for a quarterback sneak on 4th and 2. The fans taking over Memorial Stadium in the third quarter when everybody decided it would be nice to be in warm weather because it was really, really cold in the stadium. Or what else? What else were some other things? Oh, Gronowski waving goodbye. Like we don't even get a moment to be angry at that because you're so upset at your own team the way that game went again and the late season collapse. Somebody make it stop.
Well, the best way that rivalries are made are like through close games and high stakes and just bad things that happen in the post game and whatnot. The Nebraska-Iowa rivalry has been built off of Nebraska fans crap talking Iowa fans saying, "Hey, this is the year. Hey, we're going to do it. Hey, like we're gonna beat you." And then Iowa fans going, "Shut up. No, you're not.
Yeah,
we're better."
And this is and I
It's
know
not fun.
I know we have a lot of Iowa fans that listen to us because of where we're located, and the Iowa media. Can't even be upset at the Iowa media. Who there's some good guys in the Iowa media.
Yeah.
There are a lot of D-bags that were there on Friday. Okay, they are. They just the Iowa and Nebraska media don't get along.
Is that a bigger rivalry than the game?
Well, I mean, hey, they crap. They
a
few years back they crap talked Sam openly in the Kinnick Stadium press box. It was BS.
That is not.
But you know what? Like the really professional guys like Chad from the Register, Doc, David, who is a Nebraska guy. I mean, there's a couple of them that are really, really good people. It's more of the younger guys that are in the Iowa media that are just idiots.
Yeah,
Okay, they're jealous of the coverage you get here. Hey,
Sure.
we're jealous of your success. All right, so there, you can have it. But not to not even be so angry. You're angry. You're more angry at your team. Where you can't even get angry at. Yeah, that targeting call should have been reviewed.
But that's,
and how maybe that would have been a turning point at 24-16. Can't even do that because you're angry at your own team. That's what Friday was. Maybe in the middle of the summer when you wake up and you go, what am I going to do today? Oh,
well,
Black Friday, Iowa. I wish you would have fallen down the stairs and broke your ankle when you were going, go Hawks, Black and Gold. You know what? Fire your wrestling coach. Our wrestling coach is better than your wrestling coach. So there, take it.
Well, the worst type of rivalries are the ones that are made in the off season, not the ones that are made on the field. And this is a full rivalry created from crap talk in the off season and no substance on the field. There's zero substance. The biggest turning point that we had is that Nebraska players decided not to shake hands of Iowa players at the middle of the field. Okay,
they did this year though.
Yes,
including Emmett Johnson, who was part of that last year.
But compared to like the Iron Bowl and compared to the game and compared to the other rivalries where there are like awful physical calamities and like just like bad things that happen, it is minuscule the types of things that have to get us fired up for Iowa, Nebraska, because Iowa just kicks their ass.
Yeah, I mean those are facts. But I'm sorry if people want us to talk about Iowa. Today is about Nebraska's issues and the collapse at the end of the year, where in the month of October. And I know a lot of people are going to focus on defense, and rightfully so, because the bottom fell out, and we need to find answers to that. When it has a lot of the feeling of 2017, the end of Mike Riley. Now, this is not the end of Matt Rule,
no,
but this is a turning point for Matt Rule in showing what you are or what you think you are. I'll touch on that a little bit later.
Sure.
But there in 2017, as it was coming to the end with Mike Riley, the bottom completely fell out. In the last two games, Nebraska had a deficit of minus 54. You know what the math is for the last two losses? Penn State and Iowa in 2025?
What, 56?
51. So there, but there's like a deep dive, because it's not just the defense, and that's what a lot of people are going to focus on, is the defense and how the defense cratered. And maybe the defense was just hanging on, and all of a sudden they reached game number 11, and it was like, oh my God. But there also has to be part of the whole discussion, because we're all going to do this. You're going to hear 6A to 6P. We're all experts. We got degrees in Husker fandom. Is what about the offense?
Yeah.
The offense also collapsed. They went from 26.5 points in the month of October to just 17.8 months in the month of November. Again, November, where the head football coach is 2-10. The program, though, has been bad in November for a while.
Sure.
November is the month in this conference and in this sport, you either finish or you're finished. Never have I thought that Nebraska got to the month of November and they just packed it in 2017. But if you're not able to finish in the month of November, you're going to be 1-3 again, and you're going to have a lot of questions, and you're going to be through 3 years, and people going 5, 6, 7. Wait a minute, the math is not adding up here.
But I think this collapse, Gary, had a lot to do with the fact that it was already a flawed roster, and we knew it was a flawed roster, and you had a motivated coaching staff in Penn State and a just better coaching staff in Iowa.
No, don't. Okay, so
Sure.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
So So what? They had a motivated coaching staff. What was Nebraska's guys just collecting a paycheck? They already got their bowl bonus and they were just hanging out.
It's hard for me to say.
So I don't like that. I have a hard time with that. If that's going to be a talking point. It's not on you. I'm like, if that is a talking point, that's scary. I don't believe. I mean, you're motivated to go out and win 8.
I think
win 9.
I use the word motivation because I'm not going to say that Penn State is objectively a better coaching staff when they don't have their head coach. And it's not like and I'm not going to act as if I know who their wide receivers coach and how they pair up with the Keel Shorts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously Penn State was up and ready to go. And they went ahead and they prepped for that Nebraska game and they exposed Nebraska. And Iowa went ahead and they exposed Nebraska just like Penn State exposed Nebraska. So as much as it is about like Nebraska not being a November team, I think it was just Nebraska got exposed for the flaws that they clearly had. That the more important point is they knew they had them in week 1.
Yeah, this is there's going to be a lot of I'm going to spit a lot of truth because I've kind of alluded to this, and around here we sell hope in media.
Yeah, we do.
Fans buy hope. That's all you want is hope, especially when you're a program like Nebraska. That you kind of want to have a Vanderbilt year, where Vanderbilt was consistent. They never had like bad games. They didn't go 12-0.
No,
but they didn't have bad games. They were very consistent. And then when they ran up against teams that had more Jimmies and Joes, they got beat. But they never really got blown out. And all we're looking is for some consistency around here. But I think I've been leaning this way, and you've been hoping that, man, can they trick one off because of what's in front of them? The 2025 Nebraska football team is very average. They were a very average team, and even though your eyes go, man, I think I can see progress, and there was some individual progress, and I think there was a position group that definitely made some progress. But again, towards the tail end of the year, they kind of all of a sudden got some cement shoes on. And I thought about this a lot Friday driving back from Lincoln. Man, Nebraska, 7 wins last year, now 6 in the regular season, but felt much different than winning 7 in the regular season this year when your best win is Cincinnati/Northwestern. And was the 2025 team closer to a 5-7 team, but they found a way with their schedule to win 2 more games? I mean, these are the kind of discussions that have to happen because we have to talk about reality now of where Nebraska football is. And this is where I throw out to everyone because immediately I'm done. I don't want to hear about any offseason talk. I don't want to hear Rule. I don't want to hear Sharp. I don't want to hear any of that kind of stuff. Okay. I will throw it out to people what do you want to hear about in the offseason? Because it's going to come quick. Signing day is on Wednesday. There's a couple of dudes in that class, but it's not a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Then you get the bowl announcement. Then you get the portal stuff. Then you get the roster is assembled. Then you get winter conditioning. And then before you know it, spring is here. And then we're into the off season. And then in 277 days or whatever, the season will be here again. A lot of people are worn out. Okay. You get to the end of a year like this when you're expecting things, and then the last 2 weeks kind of they punch you. I will say to people, what do you want to hear in the off season? And that's what I'll talk about.
I think
because I know you don't want to hear about selling hope. You want to hear about solutions. It's not hope. It's now solutions. What solutions to the issues are going to happen? And just don't need a head coach where I roll my eyes. I just need solutions. I need solutions that satisfy me, but most of all, satisfy the program so we're not having these discussions once again, whether it be Frost, Riley, Bo, whoever is the head football coach when the season comes to an end for the 22nd straight year where Nebraska football has lost at least 4 games.
That's a crazy stat. Well, okay, so Gary, like that's the crappy thing about this whole situation is that you already have a head coach that does Sunday through Friday so good that talks and tells you and sells you hope and makes you excited and makes you believe and makes you think you're heading in the right direction, that I don't know if there's really too many words he can say anymore that can sell fans on anything. And that's what this season was all about.
Yeah.
This season was all about the Saturdays. This season was all about the wins and losses. You said it so many times.
Yeah.
You're like, you can tell me anything you want Monday through Friday, but go out there and go on the field and go and win. And they had a schedule that teams in this era of college football would dream for. You would dream to not play Ohio State, to not play Oregon, to not play or not play those two teams, and then have your tougher games at home. That's that's what they got, and they blew it. And we talked about in the offseason the whole this is your checklist year. This is where you mark things off. What do they mark off? What do they mark off? They beat a Power 4 team in week 1 to begin the year. That was it. That was all out of all the things that all the streaks they could have broken, out of the beating a ranked team, finishing the year ranked, getting 8 wins, beating Minnesota on the road, beating Iowa. Out of all those, they got one of them.
And I mean, we could sit around and play the what if game of what if Sorsby doesn't throw the pass? What if Nebraska doesn't change their defense on the final play? What if Hartzog doesn't make a great play?
Yeah.
We could play what if that screen to Barney against USC is completed. I mean, we could play the whole what if game, but at the end of the day, Nebraska is 7-5. And once again, not only 22 straight years where they've lost at least 4 games, it's now been 9 years where they haven't had a winning record in the conference. It also is, I don't even know what the streak is now. Lost in kind of all this, Nebraska again finished under the win total set by Vegas.
Yeah, I think it's so. Elijah had a great scat. Elijah Herbel and
Elijah Herbel.
I
know him.
I know
we do a podcast together.
Elijah's awesome. He goes, if you for the last I think 9 years bet $1,000 on the under of Nebraska's win total, and then you continue to roll that money year in and year out, you would have made $30,000, which is wild.
Would that have could that have bought in something? I don't even think you could afford a good player, right?
No, maybe a long snapper with that.
All right, coming up on the show a little bit later, Evan Bland's going to stop by. The offseason's going to take off pretty quick. We'll see what the tone is. Also, and this is already happening. Greg says it is 6. He sent this 10 minutes ago. It's 6:25. He goes, how come any coaches at Nebraska haven't been fired yet? The thing to keep in mind now, you got a Satterfield contract that you have to adjust. He comes off the OC contract. Does he have a strict just tight end contract, or does he have no contract? Nebraska's coaches aren't on the road in the month of December because of the new calendar. Signing day is Wednesday. Remember what happened last year? Tony White, Terrence Knighton, that stuff happened, but coaches were on the road. So who knows? I think you also have to keep an eye on maybe a couple of guys on the staff that their names may come up for assistant coaching jobs elsewhere in the country, especially in the South. A lot of the SEC jobs that opened up. There's whether it be Addison Williams or DeKale Shorts, who they must keep. There's some guys that are attractive in that part of the country.
Sure.
So if there's stuff that's going to happen, it's probably going to happen before the bowl game, or out of courtesy, it'll happen before the bowl game, but not announced till after the bowl game. So keep your powder dry, everybody. Keep your powder dry.
I would love to know the power rankings of the coaches the assistant coaches that people would like Nebraska to get rid of.
Oh,
I would.
Do you even you want number 1?
I know number 1, and I think I know number 2.
Huh.
I wouldn't know.
What do you think is number 2?
I think it'd be Terry Braden.
Okay.
I think people are just very wildly disappointed in how the defensive line was built or how they just didn't develop throughout the year. And I think that we have gotten so many emails and so many tweets about why do you hire an NFL guy?
Yeah.
Like, why do you hire a guy who's never had a room before? Am I on the right track?
No. Yes. But I think you sacrifice 25 to be better in 26 at that position group, if that makes sense. This is a discussion for another segment.
Yeah.
I know it was a problem. They finished 98th in the country in rush defense.
That's so bad.
But it starts with the DC before you can ever talk about the defensive line.
I think we
got to take a break.
Sorry.
We're going to be so far behind. All right, Evan Bland's coming up a little bit later. That's the lineup brought to you by the Roof Freezer John Higgins Weather Guard. You're more than welcome to join us on this first day of December, the start of the darkness. It's dark outside, a little bit of snow. The snow fighters, it looked like, had a good weekend. Roads were pretty good.
The main roads are, yeah.
All right. You can join us on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620. That's the number to get in and communicate with us, of Gary and Matt and Jimmy, on 1620 The Zone. I'd kind of like a little bit more activity with coaches hired or fired. Basically, a fourth of the SEC was hired or fired yesterday.
That's awesome.
Because I look forward to the On3 graphics.
Plain,
Fired,
boarded.
All right, let's start the morning. We'll start the morning. We'll play with all of you in this little world we call Sports Talk after a loss. 402-951-1620. That is on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Oh, let's start with Gary. Good way to start the week. Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving meal.
Not a weekend, just a meal?
Well, I'm sorry, a weekend. Okay. I'm still trying to forget most of the weekend. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'm going to answer your question and what I'd like to see going forward. First, a new strength and conditioning coach. Second, Mr. Holgerson designing a better playbook instead of just this basic stuff. Third, right, Donovan goes and Butler goes. And if Dylan wants to transfer, let Dylan transfer. We do not. And last, let's start paying offensive and defensive line the kind of money that we seem to need to think we need to pay a 5-star quarterback. Vanderbilt's, the Minnesotas, and the Iowas all don't use 5-star quarterbacks to win ball games. They put their money in the offensive and defensive line. I love you guys, you know that, but changes have to be made.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
When it comes to the strength and conditioning coach, because I've seen this a lot on Twitter. This is the whole Corey Campbell thing has gotten a lot of run on Twitter. It's hard for me to comment only because I'm not doing the lifts, and I'm not working out and I'm not eating the nutrition. I'm not there being like, oh yeah, they're not doing the right things or anything like that. But it is one of those things, Gary, where it's like there are Big Ten teams that are just obviously stronger than you, and there are Big Ten teams that are obviously faster than you, and there are times where they're playing Iowa, and you're like, whoa, that they have a strength advantage, or they're playing Minnesota and they have a strength advantage, and it makes you question a little bit of like, okay, what are they do? Like, what do they have to do in order to close that gap?
I think when whether you have a good season or bad season, you re-examine everything.
Yes.
To make sure how you move the program forward. And I'm sure some of the way they do strength and conditioning now, I will counter that with just a little, is Nebraska's offensive line looked pretty good on Friday. Or was that game on Friday?
Yeah.
Looked pretty good on Friday, right? They were moving the pile.
Yeah. In the run game for sure. Yeah. In the run game they were.
Guys were blocking. So I think everything needs to be looked at. The problem here's one thing that I would think would benefit Nebraska is you can't say we're close. Okay. You probably have to go through the offseason going, we were closer to 5-7 than 7-5. And how do we fix it? Instead of going, we're just a play or a player away. And the sense of urgency, I whether it be the schedule, whether it be the scrutiny from a contract extension, whether it be you just want to be successful, there needs to be a sense of urgency that is out there. What was one other thing that Gary said that
the 5-star quarterbacks, you got to invest in the offensive and defensive lines as much money as you put into quarterbacks.
This is a trenches sport. Ryan Day, one of the first things he said after he won on Saturday, this game was won in the trenches.
Yeah,
the game's won in the trenches. The one thing to keep in mind about strength and conditioning, and at Nebraska, the offensive line teaching, the strength and conditioning coach is directed by the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line coach, one of the reasons Donovan Raiola is still at Nebraska and was retained is because he teaches, him and Rule talk the same way on offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's with the head man on figuring out what he wants moving forward before you just say, hey, start firing everybody, because it's kind of a tell on yourself.
Oh, big time. Especially when he's hired most of these guys.
Let's talk to, hey, here is, let me push the right button here. The captain. Good morning, Cap.
Guys.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Good, Gary. I hope you got my apology. I posted something that was absolutely wrong about you pulling a post. I want to say that to you. I don't know if you saw that, but I was wrong.
Okay.
Let's get to football. You know, the thing I would like is depth on every position, which you can't have, but we're going to. It should be D-line, some linebackers. The quarterback situation is unique because we really haven't had that much talent in that room for a long time. So, you know, we're obviously going to lose one of the guys, I think. But I think D-line and O-line depth, which Donovan has created O-line depth, in my opinion. EJ is, from what I think I saw, was one of 55 running backs or one of 55 players in the last 70 years to have 1,400 yards and 300 yards receiving, which that says something. When it comes to maybe saving Rule from an empty stadium like 2022 Wisconsin game, this is a tongue-in-cheek statement.
Okay.
Because we've talked about empty stadiums before, Gary, is maybe he should start tearing it down so he has an excuse for 30,000 people not being there. He can be like, hey, we're tearing down the stadium. Hey, it's under construction. And then just like when we fire a coach and hire one, we build a new stadium section and everyone comes back and we have a full stadium again, at least they'll buy them a couple of years. You guys have a good morning.
All right.
You too, Captain.
Sorry about that. I'm not catch that. What post I put up or took down. Again, I think on the defensive line, they sacrificed a bit of 25 to have depth in 26, but they made some misses out of the portal.
Yeah.
But also they have some guys that did not play this year that I'm watching that were brought in to help the defensive line. Now on offensive line, I don't know if they really got a chance to develop depth this year. There's guys that we talk about that are backups from Sledge to whatever Bricks is.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. They didn't play a lot of guys on the offensive line.
No.
So I don't know about there. All I know is here's the thing with offensive line, and we just saw this with defensive line. I mean, Nebraska had a true freshman get thrown into the mix. They had a German get thrown into the mix. Why can't Nebraska play redshirt freshman or true freshman on the offensive line? On Wednesday, they're going to sign a big-time offensive lineman that they're going to sign a cornerback and an offensive lineman in a small class on Wednesday that if they're not in the mix and seeing reps in the first month of the season next year against the MAC competition, what are we doing? Why can't Nebraska find a way to get young kids on the field sooner than later on the offensive line? Because I look around the country, and it's not just David Sanders at Tennessee. It's other places. Michigan's got redshirt freshmen that are playing on the offensive line. Now, you're going to go development. But why an offensive line are not younger guys jumping into the mix sooner?
I think, first off, it goes against what they believe because they've clearly mapped out, hey, we are going to bring these guys in. They're not going to play 1 year. They're going to redshirt. Then they'll be the backup. Then they'll be the starter. And I think that's just kind of how they want to do things. And we've learned with this coaching staff, they have their ways and they want to stick to their ways regardless of what the results may or may not be. And so I think that's probably the main answer to your question. But I'll counter this. Out of the guys that they brought in recently, how many of them have forced themselves, have forced the offensive line coach, have forced Matt Rhule to be like, we have to play him as a freshman? That's what I question. Are there guys who have actually played up to the level as true freshmen or redshirt freshmen who have forced their hand? I'm led to believe that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's the Donnie discussion is really fascinating because the offensive line was better at the end of the year, and a guy who was a problem finally bought in. And Pritchett may have saved his best game for his last game. And I will tell you, I don't care whoever is coaching offensive line next year. If Elijah Pritchett happens to be a captain next year,
wow,
you're cooking with some peanut oil. But it's a discussion that let's say he's Donnie Smith. What's the discussion like on the offensive line? Is it okay? Maybe a slow start, but they got better as the year went along, because it always comes back to Last name.
Sure.
We know why you're keeping him after you give me all these other opinions on the offensive line. And then it's like, oh, I know why you're keeping him.
But the problem is, Gary, is why can't they be hot out the box? Like, why do they have to have the Michigan game or the Michigan State game?
Yeah.
Where they lost the Michigan game because of the offensive line.
They lost. I think there were games this year and have been games where Nebraska on the offensive line loses the game before you ever get to Saturday.
Where it's like, okay.
Here is old man Doug to finish the hour. Good morning, Doug. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. The highlight of my day Friday was standing next to Schaefer at the Embassy Suites, and probably had a 45-minute conversation about the Huskers. So
what were you doing at the Embassy Suites? Were you checking in? Were you stealing breakfast?
No, I was trying to drink enough that I could forget the game if it went the way I kind of thought it would.
Okay.
It did. I really thought long and my son had COVID, and I really thought long and hard. I'm kind of hoping that he is so sick he can't go to the game in a way, because I just felt it was going to turn out this way. Yeah. And I'm just exhaustedly pissed, I guess, would be my.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting discussion. Okay, I mean a description. Excuse me.
I did like the brief caller's idea about the stadium. Now that I think about it, this is probably a good time to bulldoze the South Stadium, because the resiliency of the fans is unbelievable. I'll just tell you, I was telling my wife, let's go up to Oregon next year. We'll make a trip out of it or whatever. But why do I want to ruin my trip? Because this team and this coaching staff just ruins my entire weekend. I mean, I don't like to lose, but man, when you're not even competitive, it's so aggravating. And I don't have any faith in Matt Rhule anymore. I really don't. And then I just watched the way that the college game is going, and just like Lane Kiffin, I mean, I will just make this statement. You can put this in your logs if you want. You probably won't, but I don't care what the circumstances are. I would never hire that people. I mean, and then everybody's like, oh, well, old Mrs. AD won't let him coach. Of course he won't, because he's going to rape and pillage that team once they're done. And here's the other thing that I'm trying to mentally prepare for. I probably can't, but all of the transfers that we're going to see out of Nebraska, I really believe we're going to see a mass exodus by some people that just say, this team isn't getting better, and I'm going to go somewhere else. And, I hate saying this more than anything, but props to Iowa. Those guys understand how to develop players. And we're talking about paying everybody, this, that, and the other thing. Maybe that's the problem.
Well, they pay players in Iowa.
I mean, a lot. And we're just not seeing the results on the field.
Doug, thanks for the phone call. I'm sure we'll hear from you during the week, because Nebraska and Creighton play on Sunday. I heard this on Big Red Overreaction. Iowa pays players as well. Iowa has NIL. Here's the difference. One of the stark differences that you're reminded every year when Nebraska and Iowa play. Your performance on the field matches the personality of your head coach. They play with a lot of respect for Kirk Ferentz. They play, you could say Kirk is boring, okay? Maybe Iowa is boring, but boring is probably good and suits Iowa. They just play close to the vest.
Yeah.
They're just fundamentally sound. Does Nebraska football match the personality of their head coach, who at times can be indecisive about in-game stuff? And also the one thing Iowa does that Nebraska needs to figure this out. Iowa doesn't win national championships, but they consistently win 8 games. They've got 10 full seasons of college football where they win at least 8 games. They never blink. The problem with Nebraska is very soft between the earlobes. Not soft physically, I don't know enough about that to say they're soft physically.
Sure.
Okay. There's some guys that I think are very tough. There's not enough cold-blooded killers on this roster. Okay. There are more cold-blooded killers that play volleyball per average than Nebraska. Nebraska needs to find more cold-blooded killers where you are scared of them. Okay.
Yeah.
That they are hit stickers. But the one thing that I say soft about Nebraska, Iowa never blinks. When things are going south, when a popped-up punt, which is a great play by Eckler, is recovered by Nebraska, and you're like, oh, here we go. Or Emmett nearly houses one early in the game. Iowa never blinks. Nebraska between the earlobes, very soft because they blink, okay? And they never have a cut stopper. They never say, hey, we got to pull the parking brake here. They don't have that in them. And I think that's a reflection on the head coach on Saturdays. I think Nebraska is probably pretty good Monday through Friday. But when they get to Saturday and they get caught up in the momentum and the emotion of a game, I don't think they're strong enough mentally to be able to handle everything that goes into that. And I think it starts at the top and then it's a trickle-down effect with the players because there's not enough players on this roster that are difference makers that say, not today, and this means everything to me, and I'm not going to let this happen. They don't have a plethora of those. They have a couple, but just not enough.
They just don't have an identity either. And Matt Rule's been here for 3 years.
Spot on. Yeah.
3 years. That's inexcusable.
Well, they kind of have an identity, but we don't want to go where that identity is because that identity is negative. But they don't have an identity that travels.
No.
Whether it goes to State College and comes back to Lincoln, you're going to get every week out of Nebraska.
And that's what you talk about, where they play for Kirk Ferentz and they play like their coach. That is the definition of identity. I couldn't tell you what the identity of Matt Rule is from a X's and O's field standpoint, and that's a problem.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if this is year one, it's understandable, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But now we are into year number 3, and we've had 3 years of at least 12 games in the regular season to go. Maybe it is what it is. And if it is, what are the solutions to overcome so that you can inch up? And those are this is the off season that we all love around here.
I think we literally just laid out the next 9 months.
Right.
I really do think
when we come back, though, it's not all doom and gloom. I actually think there's some positive things that can be added on to. I know I'm on an island. I'm on Revis Island.
I don't think you're on an island, but I think more people want doom and gloom.
Oh yeah, I know there's doom and gloom. I'm not here for doom and gloom. I'm here for But we need to discuss one aspect of the 2025 season.
Okay,
we'll do that when we come back. Evan Bland will join us a little bit later. Remember, Nebraska basketball is 8-0. Nebraska women's basketball undefeated. Nebraska volleyball, let's go! 6 more. I really like the draw for both Nebraska and Creighton. Creighton really got a good draw.
You excited about Louisville versus Nebraska potentially?
I don't think the head coach would be.
Sure.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. That would be uncomfortable.
Very.
Yeah.
But that's kind of why I like it.
She got some drip. Man, did you see her jacket the other day on Blackout?
Bedazzle. We need to bring bedazzling back.
Oh, it's back. Have you not looked at women's jeans?
No, I haven't.
Maybe you should start. All right. Hour number 2 coming up next. Hey, Merry Christmas, Jimmy Sexton. There's Scott Boras in baseball. There's Jimmy Sexton with college football coaches.
Yes. Good for him.
The championship games are this weekend, if you care. They've kind of lost their meaning in the 12-team playoff. And because there's no divisions and we have bloated conferences, you don't necessarily get the best teams playing. But we got it right in the Big Ten with Indiana, Ohio State. If you want to sit in the prime seats at Lucas Oil Saturday night for Indiana, Ohio State, remember, you got a home team basically playing.
Yeah.
$3,000.
Whoa.
Sit on the 50-yard line for the Big Ten championship game, where we get the Gus Bus talking about the Ohio State University and Signetti.
They still world famous?
Disappointed
Yes,
in
they
the
are.
All-American girl that was displayed in Ann Arbor on Saturday.
What's wrong with the AAG?
No, I love Jenny Taft, but he didn't. He just goes, "We'll send it down to the All-American girl, Jenny Taft." I'm like, come on, Gus. What are we doing?
A little enthusiasm, a little happiness.
All-American girl. I need that. I need that in my life. Not the, we send it down to the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. It's not funny or fun anymore if you just say it normal, because it just sounds stupid. Because it is stupid. Give me a little pizzazz. I want a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Don't you want a little more pizzazz? In your
I
life?
would think the game would be better without Gus Johnson on
Yes,
the call.
it would be.
Yeah.
Give me
would-
some Benetti and Joel Klatt.
Ooh.
Mhm.
A man can dream. Or Adam Amin. I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
on
love
an
Adam.
island.
I like Adam.
Adam Amin had a
Love
good
Adam.
day. He had a good Saturday.
I like Adam Amin a lot. He's also a great Bulls announcer.
So one of the decisions that will come here in the next month will be, what will Emmett Johnson do? So all of the negativity, this is where we're going to have some positivity.
Hey, he was a badass Friday.
No, I know we're going to get crushed for this because we're only supposed to be angry today. I have operated for the last month that Emmett Johnson should go pro, and if he comes back, it's the best thing that's happened to Matt Rule, because it takes all the attention off of Matt Rule and it puts the attention on an Emmett Johnson offseason campaign. But kudos to him. That kid balled out, 29 carries, 217 yards against a Phil Parker defense.
That's the biggest thing.
where he just kept going and going and going. And he has been, it's a great story. He fumbled one time this year in 251 carries. He's got numbers that are going to be on the record book for a long, long time at a place that was his only Power 4 offer.
Look great with a star.
Thank you for your career. And also, don't play in the bowl game. Emmett Johnson, do not play in the bowl game, because here's where I'm at. And I'm already scouring the portal. Like Mekhi Frazier from Michigan State is in the portal after they fired Jonathan Smith and hired Pat Fitzgerald yesterday.
Good call, by the way. You called that weeks ago.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, I'm not as high on this in East Lansing. But
really?
Yeah, I went back. I don't know.
I'm
with you,
how
Matt.
Can you not be high? I think it's a slam dunk.
I think people with Fitzgerald, well, maybe because of the culture part of it, and maybe because he has the ability to recruit different athletes. I mean, you guys get caught up in his last name. I'm going to get caught up in the record.
Well,
outside of the COVID year, 19, 21, 22,
sure,
they were 1-8, 1-8, 1-8 in the Big Ten.
They did. Now they were going to have a really good year in 2023, and he told people that.
So was Nebraska.
Okay, but they ended up winning 8 games with David Braun. As
not in 2023. They were not going to have. Well, no, they were not going to have a great year in 2023.
And Northwestern. I mean, Fitz was telling people, you guys are sleeping on this team. So that probably, if he was the head coach of that team, and he ended up being wrongfully fired, that would have been the feather in his cap where he had a good year. I think that he operated Northwestern as what I like to have called an every 4-year program. They were going to be bad to mid, and then every 4 years they were going to have the dynamite team with a really well-developed and old recruiting class, and they went ahead and they won games. I think, funny enough, I went back and looked at his recruiting rankings. He actually dominated more in Ohio in terms of recruiting and Texas than he did in Michigan.
Yeah.
But I think that he's going to be able to get a lot of really good talent out of Illinois. I think the idea with Pat Fitzgerald is he had very minimal talent and won the Big Ten West twice and brought Northwestern to be a respectable program. What can he do without those recruiting restrictions? I think it's a good risk for Michigan
it's a
State.
sensible hire, but he was 4-20 in his last 2 years, and now it's a new era. For Michigan State, interesting hire, probably a hire that needed to be made. And there's a lot of people rooting for him because I want to see him do well. I think it's it's better when Pat Fitzgerald is coaching Big Ten football.
Mhm.
I don't know. Tough to go 1-8 in the conference, right? 19, 21, and 22.
I think that once again, I think that's kind of how that program operated at the same time. I mean, they won one game.
So he was basically the end of
in
his rope.
2021.
He was there for 17 years, and at the end, it was not good.
But the 2023 team was they were going to win a lot of games that year.
And there's no guarantees. Like there's no gimmies on Nebraska's schedule. I don't buy that argument.
They were going to have a good year in 2023. And I think that he had proven enough with the very lack of recruiting classes that he had to go ahead and warrant a hiring to where, hey, I can go ahead and have way less restrictions. And it's a hiring similar to Matt Rule in a way, where you go ahead and you say, hey, this guy was able to develop talent, with less resources. Imagine when we give him more resources, how much talent he's going to be able to develop.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see, because I think the time is right for Michigan State to rise up and remind Michigan that we can have a better football coach. What are you getting in Pat Fitzgerald? You paid a guy $33 million to go away that was there for only 2 years.
Yeah.
So your expectations of what Fitzgerald is supposed to do now are going to be sky high.
I wonder what the rope is going to be for.
Well, it'll be long. I mean, you're the Gen Z, you like to fire everybody.
Well, I'm saying though, because
in your world, Rule is going to have to go to the coaches convention and basically have does anybody want a job?
They just fired a guy and paid after 2 years and paid $33 million to get rid of him, right? So you have to think that, hey, it's like they're going to want an ROI, at least the makings of a potential ROI sooner rather than later.
Yes, but
I'm not saying
they
just
got rid of Mel Tucker for sexual harassment. They got rid of a guy. They gave him $33 million to go away. They hired another guy that was a part of a hazing deal. I mean, I think they need some stability. That's why they hire a guy. It's a sensible, stable hire. But back to Emmett. So I don't think Emmett should play in the bowl game, and I don't think anybody should be upset if he chooses to opt out of the bowl game, just to avoid injury, be as healthy as he can for workouts, combine, all of that stuff, so he can go get drafted. And he might not be drafted until the third day. But, and this is how I'm operating. So if he comes back, we all go, whoa.
Yeah.
And Rule goes, thank you. Thank you. It takes the onus off of all of the oxygen I'm going to suck out of the offseason discussion. But there's another part of why I think he should opt out of the bowl game is he is a guy that 82.8% of the carries this year were by Emmett Johnson. He was 39% of their offense. He was over 80% of their offense on Friday. Nebraska's going to have to add a running back, but we don't know the current running backs. Nelson, okay. Mosey, okay. But not to go, RB1 running back in waiting. So you use the bowl game as a little bit of a trial. You're going to have to get a running back no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think you still don't know exactly what you have in that running back room because Emmett was so good that it would be, hey, we got 15 practices to get ready to go to Vegas or Nashville or wherever they're going. Here you go, guys. Here, you two, this is your chance to say, I got a leg up going into the spring before we add somebody to the roster.
You and I have had some good discussions in terms of Emmett, where it's like, unfortunately, he just doesn't have the breakaway speed that NFL scouts love. And unfortunately, when he hits the combine, he's not going to test well. I mean, he's not going to test as well as these other running backs. And right now, so Mel Kiper has him 7th on his positional rankings. He moved him up 1. We'll see what happens with Jadarian Price at Notre Dame, because Price could end up coming back and saying, hey, I want to get the bulk of the carries this year now that Jeremiah Love is leaving. So that means that Emmett would go to 6. He's mocked right now to go in the 4th round, around there. I don't think his value is going to go that much higher if he plays a bowl game. Like I don't think there's more tape to really put on that he needs to do. And you're not going to gain any breakaway
What about
speed.
value next year?
In terms of like going into the
is
portal?
this the hottest Emmett Johnson will ever be?
Yes.
Because you also don't know what the offense will be like next year, who the quarterback is, what they want to do on offense.
I don't think his draft grade will ever be higher.
Yeah, I think we all say thank you.
Yes.
You had a year. I'm sorry that it's a 7-5 year, but what you were able to do basically on your own a lot of the time is one of the most admirable performances as a running back And here's another thing. He struck up a relationship with Amir. And Amir's been able to string together a lengthy NFL career.
Yes.
Amir has found a way to stay in the NFL. If you go back to Amir, and there's a lot of comparisons to 11 years ago of the kind of year that Emmett Johnson has happened, that Amir had. The similarities were, it basically was all Amir in 14. He didn't have a great offensive line. What has it been in 2025?
All EJ.
It's been all Emmett. So I'm wondering if the discussion is, hey, this is the best time. Your stock's never been higher. What happens if you come back and you get injured next year, or you don't have the same kind of year? People are going to be like, I'd go pro. And I hope he does. I hope he does, and I hope he doesn't play in the bowl game, because then it gives an opportunity for Nebraska to start figuring out the running back room in 26 sooner than later.
Well, I don't think Emmett's stock is going to get any higher unless he finds 0.2 of speed, right? And that's just what it boils down to. Also, too, look at Kyle Monungai, right? He was a guy who was a second-team All-Big Tenor, and he went and he was with Rutgers, and his stock was super, super high, and he comes back, and all those guys were returning for Rutgers, so he returned with them, and he goes ahead and he doesn't have the season that people thought he should have coming back for another year, and he falls all the way to 7th round.
Yeah.
I don't think Emmett's going to get drafted any higher if he comes back next season. I don't.
And it would be a good selling point. I mean, it'd be a selling point for the next portal running back or high school running back.
Oh, yeah.
Or guys that are in that running back room right now. All right, back to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline we go. Here is Brian. Good morning, Brian. Yeah, call back. We left him on. That's our bad. Here is Eric. Good morning, E. He was only on hold for like 4 minutes.
I know.
All right. Well, welcome to December on the phones. 402-951-1620.
This is a good one.
I mean,
it's the snow.
It is. The antenna. The antenna isn't working.
It is.
Is it still dark out?
It's dark and it's still snowing outside. Yeah.
I miss the summer. I had to pull out the scraper today. It's the first time. It sucked.
You got to work with your roommate Dan on who gets the parking spot in the garage.
No, well, he pays for the parking spot in the garage because he's got a really nice car. He's like, I'm not putting that.
You got a nice car.
Snow. Yeah, but I'm not willing to pay $150 to park it in a. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. $150 a month, baby. If you want to get the heated, air conditioned, don't have to worry
when
about.
You go into the lease office in your place, do you put your hands up going, all right, you got me?
Yeah.
150?
Garrett, off the air, we're going to talk about how much it's going to cost me to move to a new apartment. How it's going to cost me to move to a new unit.
All right. Here is Eric is called back. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, can I kind of backtrack to what you guys were hitting on last segment with the identity? So the thing that's kind of been troubling me for obvious, like a few decades now, is regarding identity is clearly we don't have one, and how are we going to recruit? So I think this is like a pivotal recruiting season, like this off season. How are we going to recruit linemen and, a running back, receivers to an offense where I don't even think the coordinator knows what offense he wants to run. And then when we lose Emmett, basically like the only semblance of a identity we have, if we lose a guy, 82% of our offense, like where are we going to turn to? I mean, I think this offseason we really need to set some sort of identity, definitely on offense, definitely on defense. And that's where I kind of worry is how are we going to recruit guys to something that we don't even know what it is yet. So I'm kind of curious how you guys think we're going to attack that. Thanks.
Eric, thanks for the phone call. I think one of the first things that needs to be flushed out is to figure out what their offense is and whose offense it is. If you're going to make some changes with personnel on the offensive side, I think you need to let the OC be the OC and let him shop for the goods. But can Dana Holgorsen be Dana Holgorsen? Or does Dana Holgorsen have to be the offensive coordinator with input from multiple people, including the head coach and the former OC's offense? If you're going to do this, maybe you got to do it the right way and let Holgorsen be Holgorsen and let him run the offense, let him shop for the goods. He went out and got you a pretty good wide receiver coach.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Nebraska loves this, and they'll get one. I would not touch the wide receiver room. I would not have an import of portal guys. I think there's enough talent in that wide receiver room that hasn't played yet, but has given you a glimpse. I'd leave it alone. I would not flood it with extra bodies. I would take care of the guys that are in that room now. But most importantly, if Holgorsen is the guy and he's the OC, let him run the offense and let him only have communication on Saturdays with himself and his quarterback and his other guys on his staff that are offensive guys. Let him shop for the goods, but let Holgorsen be Holgorsen. And then let's figure out the offense that benefits everybody. Now, it's a little predicated on who is your starting quarterback.
Sure.
But still, I think if you bring a Dana Holgorsen here, you got to let Dana Holgorsen be Dana Holgorsen.
Why do you even bring him in here and don't lock him in a room and give him a pen and a bunch of note cards and say, hey, Dana, please take over? What is the point? What is the point of bringing in a guy with that pedigree, with his head coaching experience, if you're not going to let him take over?
No, he was
supposed to be the head coach of the offense.
And that's where I don't know. I don't know what truth we get out of Lincoln about the offense this year, which seems disjointed. And sometimes it seems like it's Holgorsen calling plays for a Satterfield offense.
Yeah.
But whoever is running the offense and whatever they do with who's the running back, who's the quarterback, other positions, for God's sake, figure out a notebook full of red zone successful plays, because Nebraska in the red zone offensively this year was a mess. And maybe they will benefit from this, Matt, is that God love him. He gave up a lot for the program. They took him through the grinder. That Harburg is done. Because there are players on this roster that I don't think they know how to properly use, maybe a Carter Nelson, but a Harburg this year has been a main one. It's a hell of a transition to go from quarterback to tight end. That's just not like that. But the fact that he had some quarterback in him and that size that he was, trying to use him at quarterback in the red zone was not good except for one play. And I thought it was a disservice to my man, EJ, that it's senior day. Let's get Harburg. Let's get him a score. When Emmett Johnson had run all the way down to the 1 and you went with Harburg and he fumbled into the end zone, but you'll have that out of the mix. So you don't have to worry about appeasing somebody or, hey, we got a little gimmick. You know what? Gimmicks are great once in a while. I just like simplicity that ends up in positive results.
When they got into the red zone against Cincinnati, who did they use? Key and Lindenmeyer. Okay. The rest of the year, they didn't do that. I never understood
the Bonner
it.
injury is more significant than we probably should, we probably talked about.
I agree with that.
But I agree with you on the first one of what you did in the red zone against Cincinnati.
That's what it should have looked like. And they went away from it. And you're right. I thought at times they were kind of serving other maskers than trying to score points. That they were like, hey, you know what? This guy's worked really hard. He's worked really, really hard. We should put him in here. Oh, he's had it. And I get that from a culture building standpoint that, hey, if you work hard and you do well in practice, you'll get out there. But when you have the schedule and you're trying to win 8 games and your backer against the wall, you just got to do what you got to do.
Here is Randy before the break. Good morning, Randy.
Yeah, I need to talk to the supposed king of the Northern Football Conference here.
I'm sorry. Who's on the top?
Packers fan. I'm looking at the scheduling this year, and it's like, have you ever seen a more stupid schedule layout than 2 times in 3 weeks?
Just let Randy talk. You got a big game coming up at Lambeau. Randy, keep talking.
No, I just like, why wouldn't they have to play the division early in the season and then have another round late in the season?
So what is it? It's the Bears and the Packers are twice in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yes, that's just silly. I don't think I've ever seen it this
didn't we
absurd before.
We did the opposite though, Randy, 2 years ago, where we played week 1 and then we didn't play till week 18, and I think I hated that more because we lost to you. You guys had an Aaron Jones game. He dominated us. And then when we played you again, it didn't really matter. Our season was done. You guys were already in the playoffs. It was stupid. So I think I'd rather have it this way than the other way around.
I'm just of the opinion this is, early in the season, and that way if they improve, they can make a difference later in the season. So
I agree. Hey, Randy, good luck on Sunday. I'm rooting for the Packers. Thank you.
What is your problem?
Because I have the Packers going to the Super Bowl.
Issue? Can you not be my guy for once? Can you not be, my buddy? Put your arm around me and say, "Hey, you know what? I'll expose. I don't care. You're a good friend for doing this, but I also kind of despise you for doing this." You texted me, okay, over the weekend and said, "Can you handle your team being good?" And
They're the number one seed in the NFC.
And I think you were referencing my all caps tweets that I was shoveling out there over and over again. And I think part of you was like, I got to let the kid have his fun. But the other part of you was like, it's kind of embarrassing. And
I enjoyed my text from you.
And I want to let him know that and you did it in the nicest way possible. At the same time, though, 2 other people did that to me. Can the kid not have his fun?
Hey,
can I just not have my fun?
My team will not make the playoffs, so I'm already.
Your team will make the playoffs.
No, they won't. The Chiefs are not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs, and that's fine. You know what? We've had a lot of fortunate success. I'm okay with it. May turn out to be good for the organization that they don't play in the postseason. Chiefs are not making the postseason. They can't even just run the table and get in. They need some help. So I'm okay with the Chiefs not making the postseason. Okay, I'm resigned to that. I will say this: I do believe that your football team, the Chicago Bears, are America's team.
Oh,
they are the 2025 America's team. They've got a coach that has made it cool, that is shirtless, and you know what? When you win, you get wieners. And isn't that America? When you win, you get wieners.
I like
with
how he runs the ball.
Chicago. They bullied the Eagles. I think I'm not just trolling you here, because it's going to be 11 degrees at Lambeau on Sunday.
Oh, balmy.
I think the Bears are becoming America's team because they're fun. Ben Johnson single-handedly, and you're going to have a 4,000-yard passer for the first time in franchise history. Ben Johnson has made Caleb Williams like, okay,
yeah, you're
9-3. You're a fun team, and it's not a fluke. So I'm all in on the Bears. I'm with you. I want you to embrace that. I'm now calling them 2025's America's team because of your head coach, and it shows you when you get the right head coach who knows how to win. What do head coaches that win do?
Keep winning.
They win.
Yeah, they keep winning.
Forget.
I'm not trolling you. I'm very serious about this.
So Nashawn Wright is number 26. He's the guy who scripted the tush push.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time that they've actually had like a player development story, like just in general on that team in ages, where it's a guy you didn't even hear of, and he comes in and he starts making massive play. Like it's been forever since they've done that. The second, like they're finally getting healthy. The defense is good when the defense is healthy. The defense hasn't been healthy. They finally have Johnson back. They finally have Gordon back. They got to get the linebackers back. I actually do think they match up well with Green Bay. These receivers have to stop falling. They kept falling against the Eagles, and then they were dropping against the Vikings. They got to figure it out. Rome, I need your dad to stop tweeting mean things and getting all like upset about stuff. And I need you to run good routes and catch the ball. And I need DJ Moore to actually run routes, because DJ Moore thinks he's Travis Kelce and he just runs to space. He doesn't run routes anymore. Just run routes and you will get the ball.
Hey, good sign. Bills showed this last night at Pittsburgh. And of course, the Bears did this against the Eagles when they bullied them and ran for 281. This time of the year, running games travel.
Well, hey,
good running games travel. I don't care if it's Pop Warner all the way to the NFL.
We got our Pacheco, baby. We got our Pacheco. We got our 7th round Rutgers running back. Joe Thuney knows how to block for a 7th round Rutgers running back.
Yeah, where did he come from?
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Hey, you got Trey Smith. You're good.
Yeah.
He's in State Farm commercials.
We're going to play the number 1 defense in the NFL Sunday night at Arrowhead. And the Chiefs are going to have 3 backup offensive linemen going against the Texans.
Got them right where you want them.
Texans.
I got the Chiefs by 14.
I bet the Texans money line on against the Colts. Cha-ching. Sportsbook had a banner day.
You guys are going to have to help me. I'm going to need to adopt the team when the Chiefs are down in the postseason.
What do you mean? I'm going to need to help you. This is just a very easy picking for you.
Did you just adopt your team?
Join. You just called them America's team.
You can adopt Buffalo because they're your Super Bowl pick.
We've been doing this for a year.
I had Buffalo
now.
Green Bay as a Super Bowl team.
Buffalo and the Bears.
Here's where
is it about being right or about me being happy? What is it? What's more
always about being right?
Always about being right. That's what they say. I learned that early in this business. Here's where I am as a Chiefs fan. That of all the ups and downs and days when Mahomes is good, the rest of the team is like, or when Mahomes is bad, some of the other teams. I am racking my brain on the fact that Justin Reed not on this roster is hurting the Chiefs. That's how far down I've gone in the hole of trying to fix the Chiefs. Is Justin Reed did so much for Spags that him not being on the roster this year. Now that doesn't excuse like Karlaftis has disappeared. He stole money. I mean, he should be. He actually
Was he even playing Thursday?
He should.
Looking for him.
He should be in the Jackson County jail. Okay, he's stolen money from the Chiefs this year. But the fact that Justin Reed is not there, the things that he does that Spags could do with him, that's how far I've gone down. But it's okay. It's okay. You know what? I can sit back in January and I can just watch ball, and I don't have to pace and all that stuff.
That's
and
true.
I
Be
don't
good
have
for
to
your health.
clap. I don't have to buy extra gear. Maybe some people will not go to training camp in St. Joe, so I'll have more room to move around. Maybe the tickets won't cost as much.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
maybe the schedule won't be as difficult.
You're-
It's going to be okay, Chiefs Nation.
You're in your Breeze Payton mediocre years. There were 3 years of the Saints where Breeze and Payton were the tandem, and they were very mid. Okay, they went 7-9, 8-8, and then they were able to get draft picks and money, and then they had that great run at the very end where the Saints
Little
were always
resurgence.
they were always flirting with going to the Super Bowl and whatnot. You're in that realm.
Hey,
We'll win 9 games this year.
in a
You
year
might win 9
where-
games next year.
In a year where do you trust anybody in the NFL to make a run? I know the Patriots have a chance to be 10-2 tonight. The Broncos are 10-2. The NFC is really, really tough.
It's so tough.
But is there anybody in the NFL this year that you trust to make a run? And of all years, the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl last year are like, what are we doing? We're struggling here a little bit.
Would you put my team in the top 3?
No.
Okay.
Because they're young to the party.
Just enjoy the ride.
I agree.
See what happens.
All right, we'll take a break. It is the 1st of December. We'll catch up on some tweets and some emails and some chats. A lot of discussion this morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining us after a long weekend. Everybody goes back to work, back to school, and back to the grind of a 7-win season. The under. For everybody that's got that ticket, you're like Jimmy Sexton today. You're like, I'm going to Sizzler. I'm going to Sizzler. Also, I've convinced myself I'm going to win the Powerball today.
How? No, you're not.
No, today is the day that I'm going to win the Powerball. I think I'm convinced. Okay,
How do you convince yourself of that?
because it's 740 million.
That doesn't. There's no logic there.
People walk into convenience stores and they buy Powerball tickets and they go, I hope I win. I'm walking in today saying I'm going to win. Might change my luck.
It didn't work with Nebraska football this year.
Whoa, why does everything got to be about Nebraska football? All right,
We're
back with more.
We're going to beat Michigan. We're going to beat them. We're going to do it.
Well, there's no more gimmies on the schedule. That Bowling Green game is going to be tough. All right, we're back with more Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone. Lots of people inquiring about Scott Shanley this morning. Not heard from Scott in about 2.5 years.
He's still, the message is he told me they're going to Hawaii. He'll get in touch with us when they get back.
Let me read a couple of emails here. So we started the show.
He'll call back.
Love the passion of a dedicated fan base. You can never, there are things you can kick about Nebraska from the outside. You can never kick the dedication of the fans. All right. The dedication of the Nebraska football fan is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't want to go to Vegas or Nashville or wherever Nebraska is going to go for a bowl game, more than likely Vegas, it's okay. Sit at home, watch it, save some money, go to Oregon with old man Doug next year. But the dedication of the Nebraska fan, year after year, it never wavers. I know some people jump off and they're like, I can't do it anymore. I get it. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But the dedication of the Nebraska football fan is bar none. It's one of the things that keeps this program going. And at some point, you hope you get rewarded for it. So I said the greatness of the sport where you grab your kid and go to the airport in Oxford so you can flip off and boo Kiffin while you're holding your kid in an arm.
It's great.
This is what is great about the sport. And then the lengthy emails that we get in this business after games. And I love our listeners because there's a lot of passion. Let me read this one. This is from Matt. He said, Dear Nebraska football, it is with great sorrow that I write you today. Our relationship simply isn't what it used to be. As a child of the 80s and 90s, I loved you for as long as I can remember. Through the golden years and the tumultuous times that followed for the 2 decades after, I faithfully stood by you. From the Solich shenanigans to the Callahan coaster to the wild emotions but consistent results of the faux Pelini era, the ice cream and participation trophies of Riley, the just wait, Frost will get it right, and finally the Rule Aid era. It seems that the last 10 years have been futile at best, and that you always promise things will get better. But year over year, coaching staff after coaching staff, the results are always the same or worse. The relationship is as one-sided as a playing card. I'm done, at least temporarily, letting you embarrass yourself and play with my emotions. Nebraska football, it's not me, it's you. I can no longer allow myself to love something that clearly just wants to be friends. Maybe we can try again when you've shown me you can be serious about winning meaningful games against decent competition. When you've shown me that you can beat Minnesota and Iowa consistently, when you prove that you can win against ranked opponents. I'm sorry, Nebraska football, but we need a break. It's not me, it's you. Sincerely, a heartbroken Husker. Thank you for that email.
I don't blame him. It's hard to blame him.
Here is Eric. So here's a hot take for your show on Monday. Everyone knows Nebraska lost its last 2 games because of its offensive and defensive lines. What does this Nebraska season look like if they had an offensive line from the 90s or early 2000s? Or a defensive line from the Sioux era? Imagine Emmett Johnson and Raiola behind a line that could block, or a defensive line that could not only disrupt the run or pass. Nebraska has the playmakers behind and outside the line of scrimmage if they truly want to improve. The offseason focus is the trenches. No excuses. If Holgorsen can have a Heisman candidate without an O-line, he could actually have a guy running back with 300 yards a game, win one with a competent line, while the entire offense averages 500-plus yards a game as a team.
That's a fun game. How many games would 2025 Nebraska win with Ndamukong Suh on it? I think he's worth, if the games go the exact same, the script is the exact same, and it's because Suh is, you just play Suh in those games, I think he's worth a USC and Michigan win. I don't know how much that just goes to show you how much of an ass whooping Iowa and Penn State were. I mean, I don't know how much he would have been worth for either of those games.
Senator John Thune sucks nuts.
Still my favorite.
So a man from Brookings. The guy at NDSU should be the defensive coordinator, Matt Entz. Oh, no, he's not. Matt Entz is Fresno State now. He used to be there. He used to be the head coach at North Dakota State. I realize these guys are head coaches now, but Gary, we have the money now. In my honest opinion, watching these two guys appear for a while now, they both built teams we recognize. They both have taken Iowa to the brink. Okay.
He's talking about South Dakota State.
So there's a tweet before this. So let me go back.
Okay.
He's talking about Jason Eck, who is going to stay at New Mexico, who I thought would be Jason Eck will be in the Big Ten before long. What he did at New Mexico in his first year is when the rule experience is over, I want to get Jason Eck at New Mexico. He just resigned there. We should have picked him away to be the OC. Just Google Jason Eck offensive scheme Can't read that. We need to rob North Dakota State and South Dakota State's best. He's a Wisconsin guy. Okay, so there were two tweets there. Jason Eck is a very good football coach that I thought maybe Michigan State, if they hold on another year, they'll let Eck go one more year at New Mexico, and then they'll hire him. He just program at New Mexico was left for dead. He just is a really good football coach that people are going to look at the name and go, well, I can't hire a guy that's got more letters in his first name than his last name. Some guys are just coaches. Okay. They got a history of winning.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a thing.
No one's
Like,
ever said that.
Yeah. If you meet somebody that has two first names, you got to be suspect immediately.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
going
you do.
to.
You
I've
do.
never done that.
You do. Here, one thing, and I know you got some comments to
I do.
read. This I appreciate Rule for wanting to do this because there are a lot of people along Rule's career that have given him a break, his first break. Nebraska is not a place for people to have their first job. Nebraska is not Omaha Athletics. Okay, where a lot of people that work in Omaha Athletics, that was their first job. Nebraska football is a Fortune 500 company that has resources that we are all jealous of, that you should be able to hire the most experienced and talented individuals to coach football. Now, you might not get them because they've got to come here as well, but Rule likes giving people an opportunity. You now have a bloated coaching staff where you can have a lot more people that are not necessarily the assistant coach, but they can be on field. That's a great role for them.
Sure.
All right, to cut their teeth. But to be on the front line, we talk about paying players and getting talent. What about procuring the best position coaches and then retaining them?
Yeah.
I like Rule does that because people on the way gave him that shot, but this is Nebraska. That you can't do that at Nebraska.
Yeah.
You hire the best that are experienced, that know the Big Ten or know Power 4 football and have a history of sending guys to the league and developing guys. When they walk in the door, they look much different when they leave the door.
I agree with that because of the scrutiny in the media. Like Garrett McGuire, he's a fine coach. I think Garrett McGuire is going to be a very, very good head coach in the future. But to put him, how young he was, how inexperienced he was, and then to be under the microscope of almost a lot of fans know how many like across the country, like there aren't too many college football fan bases where they can just rattle off all of their assistant coaches. Like they know by, where they came from, what they're like. That's a tough place to be. If, like you said, to be the first time you being an assistant coach and being that young.
And you kind of paid for it this year. Defensive line, you get Terry Braden an opportunity. You're stuck on the Kansas City thing. Again, guys got thrown in the fire in 25. I think you sacrifice 25 to be better in 26. I'm not so doom and gloom with the defensive line because I doom in 25, but I can see something in 26. I know I'm on an island here.
I know you.
But the other one on the defensive side,
for
and everything aligned. Okay, you had a brand new defensive coordinator. You had a brand new defensive line coach. You also had an outside linebacker coach. Linebackers don't get a pass. Nebraska's linebackers too easily this year couldn't get off blocks.
Agreed.
Okay. Those were all new guys. So everything aligned where White and Knighton leave, two pretty good coaches.
Yeah.
You bring in guys that are a little inexperienced. You should have read the room and said, okay, we know we're going through a dip here. I can't have a guy that is learning with a true freshman how to play and coach the position. That's a mistake on the head coach.
You had lost 24 and a half sacks and like all your tackles for loss. And that's what you decided. All right, let's go to the comments real quick. Jim writes in, one of our good YouTube chatters. He goes, I don't know what Nebraska's identity is, but I want them to be a smash mouth physical dominance on both lines. And I want to read another comment too, Gary, because I think they kind of coincide with Jim's comment. He goes, Brian writes in, he goes, the other thing about Pat Fitzgerald is that given Northwestern's academic standards, he had very intelligent players, won't have the restrictions at MSU, but won't have the same type of player either. Here's the combination of that is like, there are some programs, I think, that get obsessed with the measurables and they get obsessed with the length and the height and the speed, and they get obsessed with the star rating, and they want to promote, hey, we have the 18th best class or 12th best class. And then there are programs who actually recruit to what they want to be, and they recruit the type of player they want, regardless of what their measurable is or what their star rating is. That's what Iowa does.
Yeah.
That's what Northwestern did, where that's how you build a culture. You say, hey, we're going to be this and we're going to play this way of football. that's why we're going to recruit this way. And we don't care what people think, or we don't care about the star rating. That's our identity. People want Nebraska to be a physical team and a dominant team and everything like that. My question would be, is the head man and the coaches, are they trying to recruit that type of player? Or are they obsessed with how big are your ankles, or, how fast can you run, or how long is, what's your wingspan, right? Because I understand you getting athletes and trying to win games that way, but you're not going to out-athlete Ohio State. You're not going to out-athlete Michigan. You got to be a combination of both.
What about, we talk about the D word a lot. What about the E word? What about evaluation and projection before anybody ever gets here? I think that's another part of, like, man, if you have somebody that can do that with a coaching eye, you're cooking with some peanut oil.
I agree. You need both. You need both.
Or looking and saying, and they've done it periodically in rules tenure, is, hey, I think that guy would be better playing this position than the position they came in for.
But they haven't really done that recently. Maybe Mosey. Yeah. I think that's the one that I can. And then Harbor was
kind of forced.
Yeah, very.
Not forced, but you wanted him on the field. And
yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll put a wrap on this hour. Catching up on a lot of stuff here, and a lot of people have good thoughts, good discussion on the solutions in Lincoln, where at the end of the week they'll find out their bowl game. Sunday's going to be a big day in Lincoln. Nebraska Creighton at 4:00.
Period. No,
bowl destination.
Put the period there.
It's another game to look forward to.
It's another game to have.
You can play Utah.
Is that your prediction?
I think if it's the Vegas Bowl, it's Utah.
It's Utah
because they still have the Pac-12 tie-in.
That wouldn't be the greatest matchup.
No, it would not. Okay, we're back with more Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we finish the hour with DC. Good morning.
DC.
Okay.
Hey,
Probably our fault. We'll take the blame for that. Sometimes, yeah.
Want a good
it gets us some guys and gals late on the phone, so we apologize.
You want a good quick McMasterism?
Sure.
Real quick. Yesterday I was on the plane.
Yeah.
And
Were there snakes?
I almost watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles for you.
You should have, because you were living it.
It was one of the movies I was on.
Nice.
The United thing.
Was there anybody drunk on the plane?
Yeah, me.
Good.
I wasn't drunk on the plane.
Dirks Bentley song.
But I
good
did.
good music video.
He said the bathroom was broken.
They didn't
That's not good.
deboard the plane.
Mhm.
They didn't deboard the plane, but they said, "Hey, look, we've been delayed for an hour and 45. We're probably going to be delayed for another hour and 15. If you want to get off the plane and enjoy yourself for a little bit, you're allowed to. You just have to bring your bags." So I got off the plane and I went to Chili's, and
Of course.
and I had a couple of beverages because I don't like flying. You know, I don't like flying. I hate being in the metal tube of death, and that's what it feels like. But anyway,
Good advertisement.
I
for the industry.
watched the entire Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Instead
okay?
of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
And then
Oh.
I finished the movie.
Okay.
I finished.
That's
I was
not-
like, I was done. So I
3 hour
started The Godfather on
Okay.
the plane. Man, I hope Johnny Fontaine gets that part.
I won't spoil it for you.
I
Did
stopped.
Sonny go to the toll booth yet?
No, the horse's head was in the bed.
Oh.
And then I was like, okay, this is a good spot to like stop right here. I understand the plot somewhat of the movie.
Horse movie.
No, it's not Secretariat. I understand that Don Corleone, he's a pretty big deal.
He's a big
you
deal.
know?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna go and watch the rest of the movie in the comfort of my lazy boy. But
Good day for it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch The Godfather. It will be big for us. It'll
You'll
be
like-
big for this show.
You'll like part 2.
Lauritsen Gardens, bright nights, back for the holiday season. It feels very holiday-ish outside with the weather. Thousands of colorful lights, whimsical illuminated features. The Holiday Express, a 20-foot tall poinsettia tree, and vibrant foliage. 10 family fun nights, 22 nights with Santa. Jesus. And fire pits to roast marshmallows. Can you imagine 22 straight days where you got strangers sitting on your lap? Open from
Like
4
college.
to 9 on select evenings through January 4th. It is the good place, fun place to go. I've actually go to this every year. Lauritsen Gardens Bright Nights. Listen to USC all week for a chance to win a 4-pack of passes to Lauritsen Gardens.
I had to bite my tongue there. I got a canker sore after that.
Oh,
People
that's
don't,
painful.
you know what, this time of the year and in Easter, you don't even think twice about plopping your kid down on a stranger's lap.
Mhm.
Every other day, hell no. Stranger danger. But when it comes, if you're wearing a bunny costume or Santa Claus costume, it's like, hey, have my kid. Touch him all you want.
Can you say that?
Take a picture.
Can you say that word again, real quick? You know the word I'm talking about. Foliage.
I know. Foliage.
That was
All
a
right.
good one.
Halfway through on the first day of December, it's my start of Whamgeddon, too. Yeah, today starts
Oh.
Whamgeddon.
What's wham?
It's a competition I have
Yeah.
with the Neanderthals.
Yeah.
You just like wham?
I'll explain.
that a band? Isn't that
I'll
band?
explain when we come
Called a
back.
tease.
Yes. Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. Trying to find the net rankings. This is the first time they've been released a month into the college basketball season. I think they're out, and I can't find them.
Isn't it just a math formula?
Yeah, but I am not going to do the math here.
You can do the math.
All right. Well, I see what Omaha is. I don't know. I just want to see where Nebraska is. Nebraska and Creighton. By the way, switching roles for going into the game on Sunday.
Was an early line been released yet for Nebraska?
Well, let me tell you real quick here. According to the former meteorologist in Salt Lake City, he projects. 1 second here. People need to stop texting me here because I'm clicking on stuff. So Ken Pomeroy has Nebraska winning 79-74, 65% chance that Nebraska will win that basketball game. He has Nebraska's record 20-11, 9-11. He has Creighton 17-14, 10-10 in the Big East, which needs some positivity in the worst way. They need some big non-con. That game is it's big for both sides, and I hope that Nebraska wears red and Creighton wears their blue. It actually probably a little bit bigger for the resume for Creighton than it is Nebraska.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, talking about a 1 seed possibly.
Nebraska. Well, no, because Creighton has dropped their
1 seed.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, while you were gone last week, we got them going. They might lose 1 or 2 games tops.
Okay.
Whoa.
No, by the way, that never happened. All right. Jimmy's making that up. Okay. Jimmy,
I'm on the bandwagon.
No, I tried to have a very well-mannered conversation about Nebraska basketball, and I tried being ball guy.
He poo-pooed him.
And Jimmy kept going, I don't think they're going to lose a game. I don't think they're going to lose a game. I don't think they'll lose one game.
Oh, yeah. Final Four.
Creighton really needs it because they lost to Baylor and Iowa State, and they got their asses with the Iowa State, and they got their asses with the Gonzaga, which shout out Michigan, by the way. And shout out Daniel Jacobson, the 7'4" Chicago native who scored 24 points for Purdue. Yes, Purdue has another one of those guys.
One?
Yes. It's annoying. 7'4".
Big Ten basketball. I saw Iowa and Michigan State, 2 unbeatens playing tomorrow night.
That'll be a good game.
Start of this is a good little week for college basketball. This is good. This is gonna be. I think this will be a busy, newsy week for everything.
Okay,
you got a hunch?
All right,
you got a feeling?
Things are gonna happen.
You just gotta. I got a gut. That's
because you'll have the college football rankings will come out tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be big. Yeah. Vandy's gonna end up getting into this 12 team.
Penn State.
Eventually
is going to have to hire a football coach.
Who?
They may have. So Pat Kraft has always in his coaching searches been close to the vest, and there's not a lot of leaks out there. But you wonder if they have an ace up the sleeve that no one's talking about that maybe is still playing.
Oh, Gruden?
I don't know. I think Joe Brady seems to be a guy, but Brent Key has kind of been quiet, right?
Ooh.
Brent Key at Georgia Tech. Now Matt Campbell just wrapped up his season 19-7 in the last 2 years, but I don't know. It's just really quiet at Penn State. If I'm a Penn State player, and there's a lot of support for Terry Smith. They got to a bowl game. You're like, hey, can we hire a coach? Everybody else is hiring a coach. We can't. We don't have a. We ever going to hire a coach?
Mark Stoops is available.
I know the history. So this is why I asked the question, probably getting a no. But do you think Braun would ever leave Louisville?
I don't know. I mean, he enjoys kicking Kentucky like he did.
You wouldn't think
in this day and age.
No. There's a lot of interesting names for the Kentucky job. It looks like Lanning might lose both of his coordinators. Will Stein, who's got a connection to Kentucky, name being mentioned, looks like he's going to lose his DC to Cal. Chip Kelly's name is being thrown around in Lexington.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you think Kentucky fans are really pissed that they fired Mark Scoops on the day that Summerall got hired? Like, you kidding me?
Because that was so. People had said that Summerall, like that was one of his jobs that he really wanted was Kentucky. Florida may turn out to be okay. Like Kiffin's going to be successful, but will he be the successful guy at LSU that they expect? The question will be the SEC hiring group of 5 coaches, like the Big Ten coaching structure, pretty solid. Like, who will work out best? The guy at Florida, the guy at Auburn. Now, the guy at Arkansas, you're at a school where men's basketball and baseball is bigger than football,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
Mhm.
I don't know. Florida may have gotten that right. Everybody's saying, well, they just hired Billy Napier all over again. Well,
What do you
remains
say?
to be seen.
What do you say a lot, and maybe it more so applies to college basketball than it does football, but if you can win here, you can win it just about anywhere. And Summerall's won. You know,
Yeah.
he's just won. He's won at Troy.
I think there's some places though that the environment affects your success where
Sure.
you're not a perfect fit. You might win at Washington, but you can't win at Alabama.
Yeah,
But you go back to Washington and you have great success, and people go, "Well, what happened to Alabama?"
Well,
Sometimes
the fit.
your strengths are that. Some people, you're right. Signetti, I think, can win anywhere.
Well, like I think what you're talking about is Jonathan Smith of Michigan State. Like Jonathan Smith was honestly,
Oh, it was Oregon State. He was loved.
you can
Yeah.
kind of compare that was Michigan State's Mike Riley in a way, right? They hire the old Pac-12, West Coast guy who's had that success. He comes
He's a good
in.
coach, just
And
wasn't the
we-
place.
I forgot, and I apologize for forgetting his name, but we had a Michigan State writer on.
Graham Couch.
Yeah, and he kind of told us straight up, he's like, he can't connect. He's just not connecting with the
Yeah.
fan base. He's not connecting with anybody here. Like you got to be able to connect.
It's best
You
for
just
both
got to be able
parties.
to win.
Going
Can
to be
do
a fun
either.
2026. You get Michigan State and Northwestern play each other, and ESPN should just announce that game day is going there to the Grove. LSU at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, which will be surrounded by tons of security, will return to Oxford next year as the head coach at LSU. You know their opening game is Clemson at Death Valley.
Really?
So it's Dabo against Lane.
Big year
in
for
Death
Dabo.
Valley. Yeah, just
Big
had,
year.
just had a 7-5 year. All right, Evan Bland's coming up at the bottom of the hour as we're now into the off season at 7-5. 5, 6, 7. They're going to win 8 next year.
I forgot to
I
do
know.
that.
I was
On
just
the
trying to
6,
avoid
7.
it. Kids love it though.
Oh yeah,
I don't think it's going to end. I think 6, 7 will be here forever.
No, it won't.
it was
won't
done at
end.
my Thanksgiving
the
meal.
dab, The
Yep, it'll
dab
be here
ended.
forever.
The dab ended. The
No, we still dab.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. We dab.
Don't dab.
We
You're
dab.
about to dab. You're so tempted to dab right now. I can see it. I
We
can see
dab.
your
I dab
arm.
all the time.
You don't dab.
I dab a lot.
Do you dabble or do you dab?
I dab.
That's
I
a
dab.
great question.
I like to dabble.
But
I
not
like
dab.
Dabo.
Yeah, there you go.
That could be the next head
Dun-dun-dun.
coach of Penn State.
I don't know.
Ace up a sleeve. That'd be a couple aces
Yeah.
up the sleeve.
I wonder if it's Joe Brady, who is currently coaching in the NFL. All right, here is Nebraska ball Mike. Hello.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Trevor, you didn't think you'd get away from us, did you?
Who?
You're human, aren't you?
Are you talking to me or who are we talking to?
Since 1930.
Okay.
You lost already once. Thank God for Texas for once in my life.
What are we talking about?
Neither I
Here's
don't
the
know.
deal. You got a month, Trevor. Unless you do it again, it's been since 1930. And all that money and all the ease that you're going to have, it's not going to be so easy. Here's another reason it's not going to be so easy.
Are we talking about Trev Alberts?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Our girls, ladies, are going to take care of you. And my question is, the game going to be in Lincoln or Kansas City?
The story's over. I could care less about Texas A&M and where they're seated on
over?
Nebraska's.
No, it's not over.
Yeah, it's over.
We have to
It's
kick
over.
his ass.
All right,
somewhere
it doesn't
once.
matter. I'm over the Trev Alberts storyline. Okay,
We
people are
have to
trying to
kick his
shove it
ass
down our
once.
throat. This is about Nebraska and cementing a legacy as one of the greatest volleyball seasons of all time.
They can do it.
And they
They
can.
do that.
They can. There's
Uh,
people say pressure, and they're like, yeah, bring it on.
Michigan State just got better.
Okay, you made Matt very happy.
State just got better. That's a really good hire.
It is.
And what else was I going to say? First of all, I think Creighton should be favored by 8 to 10 points
Okay.
because
That's
we
not
never
true.
play well in Lincoln.
That is true. That's one of my things is this the year when people expect Nebraska to beat Creighton, that they can beat Creighton? Because when they pulled it off here in Omaha, where people forget Nebraska's come into Omaha and won 2 straight years that they played here. The Creighton has been a favorite, and Creighton has been a really good basketball program. This is the time, but when they've been favored before, outside of once or twice in this series where they've played well, they always kind of go, and especially at PBA. Can't wait for it, though. It's going to be fun.
And I remember
4 o'clock
when I
on
was
Sunday.
Uncle Dom,
Uh-oh.
you want $5 million, and your kid took 9 sacks in Minnesota and broke his leg at USC.
I don't think he did it
Come on
intentionally.
now. Go take your Nike money. Go take your oil money.
It's Adidas,
Kid's gonna
but
stand there like a statue.
okay.
You better have horses around you.
All right.
Because let me tell you
Hold on.
something.
Okay.
You had horses around you, and you finished 0-16 one year.
Okay. Where did you hear $5 million?
Don't tell us
All right.
how good he is. Prove it.
He is pretty good.
He's going to leave. You better make sure you get your money now.
Well, okay.
'Cause I
Hold
don't
on.
know if he's worth all
Time
that
out.
money.
Where did you hear $5 million? Sources?
There's a really good YouTube channel that has inside information before a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What
I'm
is?
not going to give it up.
Why are you not going to
No,
give it
no,
up?
it's a
I don't
secret
know how
sauce.
to-
He doesn't give up his sources. I commend you, Nebraska ball, Mike.
Okay. All right.
Don't give up
So,
your sources.
so you're on a YouTube channel that said Dylan is asking for $5 million.
million.
Okay.
Does the last person's name begin with a D or a C?
Yes.
Okay. A D?
Oh, I know who we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got
So
a lot of
I-
inside
I
sources.
want you to prepare
Are
for
you
something.
connected?
I want you to prepare for something, and everybody else prepare out there. Whatever
All right.
happens with the quarterback position, it will not be because of their fit in the offense or their talent. It will be because can you live in a world where somebody sucks the oxygen out of your program and out of your
No.
body? That's the
Not
decision
here.
to be made. Well, then your decision is easy. But let me ask you this, and prepare yourself, Mike, because you're going to call in here and you're going to be pissed. Because if Dylan leaves, Dylan is going to fall up. Okay,
Oh,
Dylan
yeah.
is going to go to a
Good for
better
him.
program than Nebraska. And you're going to
Good
go,
for him.
well, what is... That's how it works. It's a business. People will go, oh, I could take care. I'll fix you. I got you. I got you. Hey, we know what you got out of you. All right, so just prepare that he's going to fall up if he chooses to leave.
Dad,
Nebraska.
we're going 16 in the NFL.
Okay, well,
That wasn't all
Period.
his dad's fault.
Yeah.
Dad
I
was
don't-
actually the bright spot.
Remember that.
I don't know. You know what? Hey, whatever happens, happens. I think you have to do what's best for Nebraska and the people that are here and yourself. And
Shopping kids around.
well, all of that.
You
Yes,
want to
it's a
lead
business.
program
It's a
or you
business.
want your money now.
It's a business, okay? And Nebraska got into the business. They can get out of the business or they can stay in the business and can suck the life out of you and affect your mood on a daily basis and your decision making and ride the roller coaster. Okay.
I don't know how
And so
many
you don't
people
even
want
talk
the
about
mob
you don't even get to
part of
talk
this
about the
program,
football. You
though.
talk about everything else that is not the football.
Dom.
All right. Anything else?
Nah,
Okay. All right. You're good.
I'm good.
All right. How a good Thanksgiving?
I did.
Okay. All right. All right. Be safe out there.
Everybody's here.
I don't
Hey,
think
And
Cash your
all
ticket.
my football over unders, Matt, are still alive.
You're welcome.
that's good.
So
Okay.
they're still alive, and I've got to wait another 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll see.
All right. All right. We'll hang and bang. All right.
All right.
All right. All right. Here is our friend from Ohio, Nathan.
Nate.
H.
Hey, I don't know how to I don't know how to follow that one, but
That's okay.
Mike's
a reg.
Slowly.
as you guys know, I'm a government teacher, or may know or whatever. But so, what's the Skrilla's favorite? Why does Skrilla love trial by jury?
Why does Skrilla love trial by
Matt?
jury? I don't know.
Amendments 6, 7. There you go.
Thank you. That was actually really funny.
Anyways,
That was good. That was good.
I was calling. Hey, I had to. Anyway, so I was calling to say my son's football team is in the state final for the first time for football. So we'll be going there.
where do
on
they
Friday.
where do they play the state final at? Columbus?
In Canton at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Well, good luck to
Yeah.
them.
So so I'm excited about that, and it's a good experience for him. And so yeah, Shelby, Ohio. So we're gonna go over there, and of course I'll be providing cigars for the coaches if they win.
Thank
So,
you.
but
Thank you, by the way. You're the man.
oh, my pleasure. I figured as much as entertainment and support that you guys have given me over the years, I might as well give a little back. So Merry
you.
Christmas to all y'all. But this off season is going to be really interesting, and I don't I just don't know. At this point, like looking at next year's schedule, I mean, I guess I'm looking for reasons to be optimistic. Is our defense was really young, but besides that, I'm struggling to kind of just have the optimism that we've had in off seasons past.
Hey, maybe that's a good thing though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, the optimism hasn't really worked out to this point. So,
yeah.
Maybe it's like a dose of reality.
Which we need. Which we need.
Really,
media and fans and everybody alike.
It's super frustrating though, when you're looking at the college playoff rankings and you're like, let me check my notes. Indiana, Vanderbilt, these teams that don't have half of what we do and support and everything, and they're doing well, and we aren't living up to our birthright, if that makes sense.
Well, they both have they're both a program where the coach and they have a player that has elevated the program. Nebraska has had half in, half out in 3 years.
Yeah, and that's the frustration, I guess. We were at the Penn State game, and I'll say we were up in the nosebleeds, and I was able to upgrade our seats down to the field level for like $15 right before halftime. So that was fine. But the atmosphere was actually really good. I think it's one of my favorite Big Ten atmospheres, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I've been at the Shoe, and I've been to Michigan, and the Penn State atmosphere was, even though there was large sections of missing seats, there was still it was a pretty good atmosphere. But my son went with me, and he's 16, almost 17, and he was like he was like dejected. And part of me is like, man, it sucks that he's dejected because he's never been to a game where Nebraska's actually won. So I may stop taking him. But part of me is like, man, you're dejected. But part of me is like, at least you still care. At least the losses still matter. Once the losses stop mattering, that's when you really start losing. My grandpa was a fan, my dad was a fan, and it's just like, are my grandkids actually gonna be fans?
Yeah, I mean that's a very much a concern. Nathan, great to hear from you. Good luck to your son. Let me get one more call in here. Doug is on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I'm trying to get all my points in here, but just bear with me. So like a program like Nebraska, where we're at today, not where we want to be. We should be in the portal every year trying to find a QB1, or at least every other year, because we don't surround a 5-star freshman with other 5 stars like a Georgia or Alabama. So quarterback uniquely requires reps and confidence. We probably destroyed Dylan here. Latif is an athlete, and we're not doing well by him either, most likely. Go to a non-Power 5 conference, spend your $5 million per Nebraska ball, Mike, on a QB who's played 2 to 3 years, bring them in and run with that. I think that's how Nebraska should play the QB game, at least until, we spend a lot more money on linemen and other stuff like that. So
Doug, thanks for the call. And, what does Nebraska do at quarterback moving forward? Not just Latif, who there are things about Latif that I like. There's also some things that you got to get him better. Bummer that he pulled the hamstring. Just shows you they weren't going to put the human victory cigar out there.
Yeah.
Even when your quarterback is on one leg.
Sure.
But Latif showed you enough, but he's got a ways to go. We already know kind of what we have with Dylan. So part of the question I'll ask you, about Dylan, and again, the Dylan conversation sucks a lot of oxygen out of Nebraska football.
It does.
Dylan's not bad, but he hasn't been good enough. After you got a dose of him last year, and you say, okay, this is what we have. Let's go get him his OC. Let's go get him some skill guys. Let's go get him a tackle.
Yeah.
And that tackle, it took until the end of the year for him to have his best game, unfortunately, did Dylan fail Nebraska, or did Nebraska fail Dylan this past season?
I think Dylan, I think it's both. And I think in a way, Dylan kind of failed himself because Dylan needed to get better maneuvering in the pocket and Dylan needed to increase his mobility or get faster or just understand, hey, I got to put myself out of harm's way. And yeah, Nebraska failed Dylan in that Michigan game and they failed him in that Michigan State game. But there were plenty of other games and plenty of other sacks. He had the highest pressure to sack ratio in the country. Okay. There was no other quarterback in the country who, when they got pressure, got sacked more than he did. 25% of the sacks, according to PFF, were on Dylan. Okay. That was an incredibly high rate. That was top 5 in the country. Dylan, yes, Nebraska's got to get some better tackles, Gary, but at some point, the good Lord only helps them who helps themselves at times. And he's got to help himself and he's got to improve in those facets of the game. And so I think it's a two-way street of, yes, Nebraska, does they have to do a better job of giving him some tools? Sure. But does he have to do a better job of making sure that he becomes the best player he could possibly be? Yeah. Because I don't think it was as if Dylan was like this Heisman Trophy guy and he was running around and it was just because, Nebraska couldn't get tackles. He's got to do himself some favors. And wherever he goes, he's got to do himself some favors there too.
I mean, I don't think it's the coaching that your footwork is not where it needs to be, where you don't look like, hey, where's that deep ball you saw in high school? His footwork has kind of been all over the map.
It has.
I don't know, just not bad, but not good enough to what Nebraska needs because he's in the program to elevate the program. There's just not enough of those guys that are hanging around, and there's not enough guys on headsets that single-handedly can elevate the program. So you kind of, to be honest, right now, Nebraska's stuck. They're stuck.
Well, I think also too, though, with this team, it's like it's interesting to hear people talk about, well, you need to build a support around the quarterback before you get to the quarterback. But like you can't do that like you do in the NFL because you don't have guys like Travis Kelce or tackles for 10 years like Trent Williams where you can plug those guys in. All right, we're good here. We're going to go. You can't do that. You have a small period amount of time. Like things have to come together really quickly. You got to catch lightning in a bottle almost, which is why I think it's less paramount to me to go out and have a good portal as it is to actually establish an identity. Like just put your feet down and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to run. This is what we're going to accomplish. And we're going to recruit to this. We're going to recruit to this style on both sides. And I just don't know if they've done that to the best of their abilities.
We'll take a quick break. Eric's there right there. You can gloat about your Broncos, who just win close games, I guess. That's the best way to look at it.
Oh, that's Rich coming from the Kansas City fan over there.
Yeah, I mean, you get to experience what we've experienced. Evan Bland's going to join us before the hour is over as well on this Monday, the 1st of December, with all kinds of things going on. Overreaction, underreaction, Cyber Monday. Why such a great sport. Thank you to all of you, and thank you in Lincoln for delivering us content. 1620 The Zone. Net rankings, I found them. You ready?
Yeah.
Omaha battling some injuries, a lot of injuries. They're 302 in the net.
No.
Creighton, it's just all about the Summit League. Got to get healthy for the Summit League. Got a month until the Summit League begins. Actually, 1 month from today. Ooh, New Year's Day in Brookings. Omaha 302.
You sounded so excited for that.
Ooh, yeah. Creighton 119.
Whoa.
And the fighting Fred Hoibergs.
You already told me.
They are such momentum that Bear K, by the way, they thought they were going to have to amputate his foot. He said, "No, I got to play."
They did
so
not.
He got
they did
USC.
Not think they were going to
USC upstate. He's like, "I got to get out there, coach." He's like, "All right, we'll hold off the amputation until you go back to Turkey." He came out and played. Nebraska 28 in the net. Nebraska 28,
so
Creighton
high.
119.
That is so high.
Omaha 302.
That's good for Nebraska.
You want some bubblicious?
Yeah.
Nebraska's very bubblicious.
They're more than bubblicious.
Well,
They're
I
on track to be like a
just-
7 seed.
That
That ain't the bubble.
It's early. It's early. I said January 1, I would make an assessment of the 3. But 8-0 is 8-0.
8-0 is 8-0.
And
Never
now
apologize for
and a
winning.
whole week off. Creighton plays tomorrow against Nichols. But then it comes Sunday, 4 o'clock.
8
Pinnacle
p.m.
Bank Arena.
8 p.m. tip for that game.
That sounds right. All right, let's talk to Eric. Good morning, Eric.
Gentlemen, did you guys watch Sunday Night Football last night?
I didn't, Eric. I was trapped on a plane watching Harry Potter.
Yes, I watched it.
Honestly, I thought it was the most entertaining game of the year on Sunday Night Football so far. And I give the Washington Commanders credit because they had us by the short and curly, and it took one great defensive play. This is something that Nebraska football is missing. Okay? We've been missing it for a minute. We haven't had those studs on defense. And I know everybody wants to talk about Dylan Rayo and the quarterback and everything else in the offensive line, but we have proven, and the Big Ten has shown us, okay, that if you don't have the studs up front on the defensive line to stop running backs and stop teams from rushing on you like Michigan and Minnesota and Penn State and Iowa, well, you shouldn't be in the conference. And I truly believe that Matt Rule really needs to go get him some defensive studs before he worries about the offense. The short victory, yes, my Broncos won. It was ugly, but one great defensive play made all the difference.
Yeah.
I'll sit back and listen.
Hey, congratulations, Eric. But you know that it could have been a walk-in 2-point conversion.
It was a great play by Bonetta, though.
Okay. One quick thing here about
the Broncos.
No,
the fact that
they'll-
Chris
they'll-
Collinsworth
they-
was right about Bo Nix, by the way, and
Well,
Sean
they're-
Payton should put him
okay.
in more stressful situations. I couldn't agree more.
So their defense is legit, and they will only
So
go as
good.
far as Bo Nix. They're
They're the 2018.
The NFL is changing. It is shifting. Okay, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Baltimore, all a little bit on the struggle bus.
Mhm.
Now we got some new teams that are out there. All of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers are really, really good, and they're kind of fun to watch. And it doesn't make sense that they would beat the Rams. But the NFL this year is shifting. So it's time for the Broncos to be there with the Patriots. Nix may, it's okay. My team's not going to be in the playoffs, so I got a month here before I adopt an NFL team to follow.
I don't
And
know.
when I follow them, I will follow them with the passion of 1,000 hyenas
you're gonna-
that are hungry out in the wild.
You're going to be a jackass and pick the Lions or Packers just to make me mad.
No.
piss me
I probably
gonna-
shy away from the NFC. I might stay with the AFC.
You're going to walk in
Will
here
not be
one
the
day,
Broncos.
and you're going to have like the Lions garb, like the lion head.
No,
like
we'll not. I'm not going to buy the gear. I will just follow the team more intensely. I will get on boards and things like that.
You'll get on boards.
Well, we'll talk to Evan Bland about a plethora of things here in a moment. Do you remember what the first snap of the second half on Friday was?
It was a penalty, was it not?
Yes, Nebraska
Yeah.
defensively lined up offside.
Yeah.
Okay. 72.791 yards in the last 2 games. Why did they crater so much? But Riley Van Poppel, when you should have been in the room, when he said no energy, part of me went, but
You
to say that
squirmed up?
and then to line up offside on the first play of the second half.
Oof.
Also, there's a part of the defense. At some point, Guys got to make plays. When
Thank
they're in a
you.
position to make a play.
Thank
Sierra
you.
Wright had a really good year. They had him on a blitz coming up and fanned. Sometimes guys just have to make plays. You got to make calls, but you also have to make plays. They just don't have they don't have enough erasers.
You want to sign my petition for Rex Guthrie to learn how to tackle falling forward? Do you want to sign that petition? Because every time that guy gets a tackle, the ball carrier gets about 4 yards because he's falling backwards. Hey, Rex, how about you put your head down and your chest up and you go and hit the guy? Go and hammer him.
Nebraska needs to find a safety that everybody's afraid of in the middle of the field. And it's not Rex Guthrie. He was on the struggle bus, but the bus kept rolling. The wheels on the bus kept going around. The wheels on the bus didn't stop, and he got off, and they put somebody else on the bus. Okay, they just let him play, and he didn't play through mistakes. Last couple of weeks, that was rough. That was a very, very rough look. But I think they're banking on guys were thrown into the fire, and they're going to come out on the back end. That means you're asking us to trust you.
I don't.
I got trust issues.
I do. I do too. Why? How could you not?
All right. Evan Bland for the World Herald will join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, we welcome in Evan Bland, who will be busy up until the bowl game when Nebraska plays again, trying to figure out the 7-5 season as he joins us now from the World Herald. Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Okay, you're going to write. You're going to talk a lot about this season, trying to figure out the highs, the lows, where things could have gotten better, where things went wrong, all that kind of stuff. Let's start here. Do you have a word or two that you would describe the 12-game season as a whole? A word or two or a sentence?
Unfulfilling, hollow, I think, would be a couple of them. And you just think there were so many chances for that big win to happen, to sort of validate the hype, validate the progress that was being touted, and it just didn't happen. Like, it does feel unsatisfying when your best wins are maybe Cincinnati in August, maybe Northwestern in October. Like, those are, when you look back now, those are your season highlights. And the blackout for USC was unbelievable. Didn't turn into anything. The chance to go up to Minnesota and break that streak didn't happen. You know, but Penn State kind of felt like that was an opportunity with a program in transition. You don't get it done. And then obviously Iowa just kind of continues to do what it's done. So you can look at some of the individual things and say, Emmett Johnson had a great season, and he'll have a decision to make. You could say the offensive line, I think, probably played its best football down the stretch, which is something. But there were just no big results to celebrate. It felt like the team as a whole did not get better in the month of November. It went the other way for the most part, and so you're just kind of left, at the end, and it's 7-5, and it's a little worse than I think most people projected. I said 8-4 to start the year, and they just didn't win that big game that got everybody excited. So, it's snowing outside today. It feels kind of cold. I saw someone wearing a Grinch outfit yesterday, saying that was kind of their mood after the Nebraska game. I think that's pretty appropriate, just given the excitement that this team had before the season and where it ended up.
Evan, I feel like in the past, and rightfully so, might I add, we judged Matt Rule based off of the shortcomings of coaches before him. Where we said, okay, 5 wins, but hey, they have a culture. At 6 wins, hey, but they're taking strides. Do you think now that you're done with 3 seasons of Matt Rule, that needs to be over? We need to stop talking about what he's taken over, and we need to start judging him the way that we judge all other coaches in college football?
Yeah, I think we're to that point. I mean, there's really nothing left from the previous regime that you're talking about here. I mean, some of the best players on Nebraska's roster this year were guys who were part of the previous staff too, and they have all the facilities they want. Matt Rule has said, in terms of resources, they're wanting for nothing at this point. We'll see how that plays out in portal season here in a month or so. But yeah, I mean, there's really no built-in excuses at this point. I think, to me, it comes down to different, almost like assessing performance in different areas. And the area that he's been really good in is building the brand with the podcasts, with the press conferences, spreading the good news of Nebraska. He's outstanding at that piece of it. I think the piece that still needs to come together is the football identity piece, and figuring out what do you want to be good at, what do you want to build your team around. I talk about this with Sam a lot, but a lot of the leaders on this team are defensive backs and wide receivers, and is that really what you want the guts of your program to be? And those are good players and great guys and great leaders. But where's the line of scrimmage? Where are those defensive linemen? Where are those offensive linemen who are setting the tone publicly, privately, saying this is what we're going to be all about every time out? Like, that's what Iowa has. That's what Minnesota has, even if they have good players at those other positions. So I think that continues to be something that Nebraska needs to look at, whether you're talking high school recruiting and development or portal acquisition, and figuring how you budget for that. But that to me is kind of that next step. Is I think the culture is pretty strong. People, the players that are here like to be here. They like the coaches. They like the fan support and all the stuff. Now it's about that substance, that football piece. How do you really make that something that endures week to week and season to season? And right now they're playing the roller coaster a little bit too much, and obviously people are feeling that here this week right now.
Yeah, I you might have been there. I don't want to say this was like at the Michigan State game before. We were sitting around talking just exactly about offensive linemen, like who is the mouthpiece on the offensive line. But let's go over to defense, because there are numbers that are startling. 5 times they gave up 200 or more yards rushing, only 19 sacks with the pass rush. They got to find a guy that can set the edge, get to the quarterback, yes, but set the edge, turn things inside. 11 of the last 19 drives against Nebraska's defense, 60 or more yards.
Wow.
Nebraska didn't force any turnovers. It kind of cratered at the end in the last 2 games. So going into the offseason, whether you look at your internally or externally, what do you think is priority number 1 for John Butler 2.0?
It's got to be shoring up the front 7, and probably more specifically that defensive line. I mean, he had some great thoughts on that last week that kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit with it being Iowa on a short week. But he was pretty honest about it, saying, yeah, there are guys here that you can develop, Riley Van Poppel and Keona Davis and Williams Nwaneri, and you kind of go down the line to Cade Petschok, guys who have bright futures with the program if they decide to stick around. But you got to find some enforcers too. I think you need a big body or two. You need a Ty Robinson type, somebody who's got that bigger frame but can also get after the quarterback a little bit. And I mean, to me, that's where the defense slipped late. Like the big plays they gave up through the passing game against Penn State and Iowa State, largely that was because they said, and they were going to devote these schematic resources, as John Butler said, to stopping the run. And so when you have to devote that extra man to the box because you don't feel like you can stop the run and you don't want to get bled out on these drives, then that's what makes you susceptible in man coverage on the back end. And that's what made Penn State so efficient, with a guy who wasn't a star, a quarterback, a young guy. And I think that's what Iowa took advantage of as well, where they saw some favorable passing situations, and especially to their tight end Boname, they were able to capitalize with him. So like, to me, that was not the secondary regressing. And I know Sia Wright put a lot of that on his own shoulders, and he missed on the one corner blitz, but I think that was a situation where Nebraska put his secondary in a bad spot because it had no choice but to go all in to stop the run. And that was the part that probably regressed the most this year, and that was the part maybe most frustratingly that was an area of concern before the year. I think any casual fan would have said, yeah, defensive line's probably that spot where you're a little bit unsettled, and they were able to patch over it, I think, for a lot of the year when they were playing teams that weren't great rushing offenses. But man, you get into the second half of the Big Ten and the weather gets colder, and you play teams whose identities are just that, and you saw what happened. So they were never able to really figure that out. They were never able to stop the mobile quarterback piece. We saw that again on Friday. The red zone struggles continued, where whenever an opponent got inside that 20, like, the chances were very high that they were going to finish it with a touchdown. So I think it's got to be where it starts. If you have a decent front line, then that allows you to be more multiple in the defenses that you have. And I think they were very limited in that regard down the stretch with some bad matchups, especially against Penn State and Iowa.
Before Matt Rhule signed the contract extension, he had the very famous line of, hey, Nebraska football used to be innovative, and we got to be on the cutting room floor, and we got to be able to compete with NIL. Then he signs the extension, and he goes ahead and basically says, hey, we're not at the top, but we're going to compete at the top. Evan, how much different would the vibe be about next season if Matt Rhule didn't say that? If Matt Rule didn't come out and say, "Hey, we got money in the portal, we're going to go and spend big money in the portal," how much different would the vibe for next season be?
I think there'd be urgency either way. At this point, you just want to see it backed up, right? Like if the resources are really there, then let's see how that plays out in terms of talent retention, and then in the portal next month. And if Nebraska had won, say they split November, say they beat Iowa, and you're 8-4, I think there'd still be like an expectation that you're going to upgrade your roster. But now I think that expectation's taken on another level of urgency where you're just like, let's see it. Like there are going to be some young guys that need to grow up, but you also are going to need to provide some reinforcements. So be competitive. Don't lose a bunch of key pieces this month from guys saying that they're going to enter the portal because Nebraska can't retain them. And then next month, go out and be competitive. They were competitive last winter on a number of linemen on both sides of the ball, and they lost out to a lot of them to other places that are as well resourced or probably were better resourced at that time. Now the rev share piece is in there. Now you have a GM and Pat Stewart who wasn't really around to evaluate last cycle. He hadn't joined the program yet, so he's here. So is there a commonality in some of these players? Is there a type that they're looking for? I think that piece is going to be fascinating. But certainly some of the moves you've seen Nebraska make in terms of shifting some of its multimedia rights from money that's coming to the school to money that they want to go to the players through NIL deals, that's going to be a fascinating piece of this as well. But I think that's just where it is the Matt Rule set the expectation that they're going to be able to belly up to the high stakes table, and you have to have a pretty strong buy-in to play there. Nebraska says they have it, and now you need to see that play out in terms of how competitive they are and flipping the roster, adding some impact talent for next season.
Yeah, I always will live and die by Nebraska is a high school football recruiting program, and they do that. This year the numbers are going to be a little bit funky because they have so many underclassmen that are taking up spots on the roster. So you come off of Friday, signing day is Wednesday. It's going to be a small class. The rankings are not going to look good at all because of how small it is. It only has 9 in it. They have 2 guys who I think are really good, Danny Odom and Claude Mpuma, who next August have to be on the football field. So Rule says unacceptable right away. We were all in that room post-game, Evan, on Friday. But then he said another thing, and he's got to sell a little bit. He said recruits see what it can be. When he said that, what do you think because they had some name guys there, but a lot of them are 27, 28 guys. We're talking about 26. What do you think when he says recruits can see what it can be? What do you think he's pointing out that maybe we don't see after watching 12 games?
I think he's just talking about the ingredients are all there for Nebraska to take off. Like you look around the country and you see some of the struggles that are going on at other programs. You look at all the firings and hirings that took place yesterday. Like Nebraska's got stability. They've got fan support that's right near the top. The facilities are right there. The academics and the things that have always been there. They have the history, and they're in a situation where you're not coming there to be kind of the next guy in the factory line. Like you're coming there to turn this thing around. And I think there's a realization that if Nebraska takes off, then those guys are going to be celebrated in a way that you wouldn't be at a Georgia or an Alabama or somewhere that's done it all the time. So I think that's kind of what I look at. It's like, why not Nebraska? It hasn't happened, but why not? The geography piece, I think is less of a big deal than it has been in the past, especially in the rev share NIL era. Everything else is there. Why can't Nebraska do it? Matt Rule's, turn programs around elsewhere. You have an accomplished offensive coordinator and Dana Holgerson. You've got, your special teams are in good shape right now. Those seem to be on the rise. So I think that's kind of what you look at and say, if you're a coach talking to a recruit, you're saying, come into this situation. We believe in your talent, and you can upgrade what we're doing, and this thing can take off in a special way. So I think that's the message that not every recruit's going to buy into that. Not everyone wants to be a part of that. Some want to join an established winning situation, but I think the ones that are coming to Nebraska, like those are the guys that are locked in. I mean, the Trey Taylors and some of those 27 guys are really, I think, committed to turning this thing around. And it's in a way that you can't have maybe at places that have been more traditional winners lately.
Over under 1.5 new assistant coaches on Matt Rhule's staff next season.
I'll take the over on that. Where it plays out, I think, remains to be seen. But I think one thing you can say about Matt Rhule at his time in Lincoln and at previous stops is he's self-aware enough of the program to see where the areas of weakness are and bold enough to make changes on those. Obviously, you hire an offensive coordinator last November the way you did with Holgerson. That was unorthodox. And so I think it might not happen right away, but he's someone who's going to look back and evaluate the strengths and the weaknesses of this team this season. And you can tell, I mean, the post game, he was burned by what happened. I think he was genuinely disillusioned by what happened at Penn State, even though there wasn't really a lot of time to process that. And then certainly the Iowa game too. So I would anticipate some changes. Maybe that's a mutual parting of ways, or however what they want to frame some of these moves. But he's had a history of, shaking things up when they need to be. And I think that's probably the spot that they're in after a pretty disappointing 7-5.
Yeah. Hey, great stuff, Evan. I appreciate it. I know you're writing a lot about a wrap on this season. Always appreciate the time, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Yep.
That's Evan Bland. There's some good stuff at omaha.com. Sam's rewind, and then Evan starts to do the deep dive into a position that probably needs to be resolved sooner than later, and that is the quarterback. The portal opens a month and a day from now.
You would think it opened today with all of the coaches getting into the portal, essentially.
Yeah. I think your question is a really good one about over and under.
Yeah.
But is it guys that Rhule decides on, or guys that go elsewhere because they have a different opportunity?
I
think Addison Williams would like to be a defensive coordinator.
Sure. I think if you were to get over 1.5, it would be both. I think he would make one move of and I don't know who, but I think he would make one move of hey, we have this other guy lined up with more experience we think is better. We're going to bring him in. And then there would be a sayonara, I like warmer weather, or hey, I got a better opportunity here.
All right. Last hour upcoming on a busy Monday of Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right. Good luck to everybody that today begins Whamageddon.
Okay, so tell me, this sounds like something that I would love because
No, it's not about love. It's about avoidance.
I know you told me this already.
So
this is the self-admittance pool that you're in that you could technically cheat in.
You can cheat in anything.
No. So December 1st to Christmas Eve is Whamageddon. And it is your goal, and you have to be honest here. There are 12 of us. You try to avoid hearing Wham's Last Christmas.
Which is tough when you work at a group of radio stations.
Well, and now you work at a radio station that plays Christmas music, and sometimes you walk into that studio over at 1180.
Yeah. Have you listened to Santa Baby 1180?
Yeah, because the
hear
Omaha
it.
men's game was on that the other day.
They love telling you what station you're listening to.
Oh
like
my
every
gosh.
in between every song.
The Mavs play on Santa Baby.
No. It's in between every song is ho ho ho. You're listening to Santa Baby 1180, and then they play the next song.
There's and then, I mean now we got snow on the ground here in Omaha, and it's cold, so it's starting to feel a little bit like
Santa Baby?
Christmas. Driving to the game on Friday morning, and I was scanning. I was listening to the network pregame show.
Did you get it?
No,
Did
no.
you hear- oh,
no,
okay, I was gonna
didn't
say
start until
scanning.
today. Didn't start until today. There's a lot of stations in Lincoln and Omaha that play Christmas music, like a lot of stations.
Really?
Yes. Like I scanned, and I was just looking. I was looking for Ben and DB to break down the game. Tell me something funny. Okay. I was, our stations are carrying national program and then talking about the NFL. And it's like a lot of Christmas music. A lot of stations have said, you know what? We're just going to be a Christmas station. Now, Santa Baby, people are popular. People stop me on the street and they're like, Santa Baby, is it going to stick around? I'm like, hell yeah. You think Christmas Day it'll be over? No.
Santa's an NRG employee.
We're going to be the only station
Hell yes.
in
Does he get
America
insurance?
that plays Christmas music year round, but then drops in and has some play-by-play on there.
Which you can have fun with.
This is really funny because there's only one station that I can tell you that plays Christmas music in Chicago, and it's because they own it. Like, you're not messing with 93.9. Like, 93.9's got Christmas music. You'd be a fool to try and compete with them. So you only go there for that. I'm not a big, when I listen to Christmas
Santa
music.
Baby, play me a tune today.
So couldn't you just lie and wham again?
You can always lie.
No. This is we are all above board professional people that are in this contest.
And your group chat name is
I don't. Oh, these are the Neanderthals.
and you
But this
are
is just
above board.
This is you not. Oh, you haven't seen Seinfeld.
I haven't.
Okay.
No, I've never
Master
watched
of Your Domain episode is kind of how this is.
Okay.
Like you have to admit it, and you have to take the dollar and I'm out.
I think it's fair.
So there's a bunch of Michigan men in that group chat, is what you're telling me? Bunch of high quality humans.
There's more Florida men.
Florida men.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do love Florida man.
Yes.
Florida man. Florida mans. That'd be a great group chat name.
Florida mans.
The Florida mans.
Would it?
I think so. I think that'd be a good one.
Uh,
I'm in two different group chat named The Gentleman. Seriously. Two different group chats. They're both named The Gentleman.
What is going on here in the world of college football this morning?
Why are you getting a bunch of?
Wait a minute.
I should probably
North Carolina State and Virginia next year are going to play in South America.
Yeah, good
They're
for
going to
them.
play in Brazil.
Good for them, man.
Wow.
Is that week 0?
This realignment's gotten out of
No, I think that is the regular week.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna go to South America.
Going to Brazil.
Man,
Screw Raleigh.
I feel bad for that operations department and having to figure out all the passports. I don't know if you heard all the stories about when Nebraska went to Ireland and how it was
Yeah,
like
drank
they
them out
had
of
to
beer.
get they were taking the guys in vans
Nice.
to go and like get passports and stuff like that, and how difficult that was at times. That's terrible. I was just pointing that out. I thought that was a good point. Getting passports suck.
Yes.
I don't have
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Why? What? I was making in-depth points about the operations department.
All right, I'm going to make an in-depth point here before we get to Gary, because I still have some psychobabble. This is what Nebraska football has put us in. It'd be great to talk about X's and O's and guys weren't lined up correctly and they just didn't make a play and blah, blah, blah.
It would be fun.
But Nebraska football becomes psychobabble, so we psychobabble everything about, I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder how he's going to act. Did you ever think that the next time Nebraska basketball plays, they're going to play for the first time this year a quad 3 game on Sunday at Pinnacle Bank Arena?
Wait,
Creighton is a quad 3.
But they're not. They're like Winthrop, and that's SC Upstate. Was
No,
that
they're like 4?
Oh, that was quad 4.
Winthrop is different, but
Okay.
USC Upstate from
Creighton's going to be a quad 3 game.
quad 3
That's
game.
embarrassing.
The net rankings are out for the first time. I know it's a month in. The Big East only has 4 in the top 100.
That's awful.
Creighton is 119. Nebraska is 28. Quad 3 game. So it could actually hurt Nebraska's resume to beat Creighton. So you know what, Fred, just go ahead and lose. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm the adverse effect. Wouldn't it be bad to lose a quad 3 game?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I think wouldn't you want to win that game? Because if you lose that game, wouldn't you start rooting for Creighton? Wouldn't you become Nebraska for Creighton, and Nebraska fans for Creighton basketball to make the loss look better?
All I know is that if a month from now or 2 months from now or 3 months from now, if Creighton is 119 in the net, then we are going to be having a long discussion about Mark Kingston thawing out the snow on the ground. I don't think that'll be the case, but early on, they're 119. Nebraska is 28. Okay. Let's chat with the second Gary that's called in this morning. Good morning.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary. Yes.
Gary, this is BJ, not Gary. I apologize.
Make up a
maybe
name.
Jimmy didn't hear me, or maybe I mumbled my words. I apologize.
Yeah, I swear you
I
sound like
said-
it said Gary.
BJ, how's it going? How was your
Yeah.
Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
We had a good time. I went back to my parents' farm in Iowa, and we had it there. So
That's awesome. Always great hearing from
yeah.
you.
I'm an Iowa boy like you, Gary.
Mm.
Go for the Big Red. So, and I live in Lincoln now. Nevertheless, I wanted to say this. Going back, I really like Evan when he comes on, and he said, he pointed to one of the plus of Matt Rule being, he gets us out there in the national spotlight a little, going on Pat McAfee or doing his YouTube show. And honestly, to me, that was one of the strengths of Rule when they hired him, was his messaging, his personality. And I feel like just talking to people around here who are fans, friends, and, family, like they're starting to tune that out.
Yeah.
And so here we are, year 3 of Rule, going into year 4. Like when he makes these bold proclamations, people are they're going to roll their eyes, Gary.
They are.
Not everybody, but a lot of people are just going to roll their eyes and be like, yeah, we heard it the last couple seasons. Show us. And to me, that puts Rule in a really tough spot, because all of a sudden you take his biggest strength and now it's seen as a weakness.
Yeah. I agree, Gary. That is a spot on. Thanks for the phone call.
I agree.
So Rule came along at the right time for Nebraska football, right?
He did.
Okay. Nebraska
time.
needed a front man. They had somebody that didn't have the tools in the toolbox to be the football coach at Nebraska, and it was just a mess, okay?
Mhm.
Internally, externally, the vibe around the program. Rule comes along, and he's a great front man. All right, Rule is a fantastic front man, okay? He loves Nebraska. He likes being the head football coach at Nebraska. He does really good things for Nebraska. But now we have been the football coach at Nebraska for 36 regular season games.
Yes.
0 wins over top 25. Luke Fickell and Madison's got 2 in the last month. Your best wins in 3 years, twice against Northwestern, once against Colorado, this year against Cincinnati. The front man works for so long, and we've been around it for a while. I know it's tough
Yeah.
if you've only been here for 3 years and it's been a little bit of a struggle. A lot of us have been around here for a while. This is the transition, and this is a little psychobabble, is Nebraska needs a football coach. They got the front man. They need a football coach. They need somebody who is a good football coach, who wants to be a great football coach, but doesn't think they're a great football coach. They need a football coach. The front man stuff worked for so long. Now it's about being a football coach, because all of this portal stuff, Nebraska doesn't have the ability to go get the fellas like Georgia.
No.
They don't have Warren Buffett standing outside of the Tom Osborne Legacy Complex handing out dollar bills, y'all. Okay? Warren is not there going, hey, 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 look at what I did. Did you see the stock market? I'm making a lot more money, and my money's going to go to Nebraska football players. They don't have Georgia's NFL talent. They don't have Warren's money. You know what they need? And this can be controlled by the guy that's got to make the transition from being strong front man to being a stronger football coach. Nebraska in 2026, they can go and get me a bunch of new players, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to scrutinize wide receivers. I learned my lesson with Dane Key. Nice guy, blocked his ass off, end of the year. He wasn't brought to Nebraska to be a blocker. He was brought to Nebraska to be a pass catcher. I know the deep ball wasn't there and some of the other things, but
you got to be better.
I got to open the stats now for guys that come to Nebraska and go, how'd you play in games that mattered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great point.
His games that mattered against SEC kind of were the games, the same line that mattered against Big Ten. Sorry, Dane Key. You did other things. You were great in that room, but I needed production on the field.
You need dudes.
Okay. So Nebraska will go out and they will have resources to spend money, and they'll be attractive to people. And so they'll bring some people in here. The bottom line is when Nebraska takes the field again against their MAC trio to begin the year, this upcoming year is all about coaching, and it's not necessarily Matt Rule. It's guys that have headsets are more important than guys that have helmets to me in 2026, because that's one thing Nebraska can control is coaching. Okay?
Yeah.
Coaching on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Winning coaching on Saturday. They don't have the NFL talent of Georgia. They're not going to be able to build a roster with NFL guys falling off trees on every position. Uncle Warren has like, screw you. You took Coke out of the stadium. I'm out. And he might be out. You can control the coaching part of you and the people that you employ to get better, to do their job, and to elevate the program. I think 2026 to me, this isn't a revelation. This is on the sheet. The program elevates in 2026 or it drops based solely on coaching.
So you bring up some great points, but I want to go back to the head man, right? And the CEO, right? We use that word a lot, the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Rule's CEO. Matt Rule's the CEO. The Matt Rule has got to be the CEO. You get what I'm saying? If you're going to be the front man, right? And you're gonna have a head coach of the offense and a head coach of the defense, a head coach of special teams, then be the front man. Let your coaches coach. Let them go ahead and do the things that they were hired to do, and let them trust them in a way, right? And if your role is going to be, you can't be both. You either have to be, hey, I'm a head football, like Steve Sarkisian, right? He goes, I can't give up play calling. That's my best trait. I have to keep calling plays. Lane Kiffin's the same way. I got to keep play calling. That's my best trait. Matt Rule's best trait is not the X's and O's. Matt Rule's best trait is being the front man, being the CEO. Then do that. Then be that, right? You don't have to prove anything else. You don't have to, just hire the guys, control the guys, set the culture. Hey guys, this is our game plan. This is what we're going to do, and let them go out there and let them do that. That's what I think that's it. It's not necessarily about whether or not you're the front man or the coach. Just pick a lane.
Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Here's a little psychobabble, and I hate this psychobabble, but I think this is what I'm thinking. This is the second time in 3 years Rule has been squeezed, where all of a sudden people that were going, yeah,
you're right.
they're going, no. One was after UCLA. He made changes. Now, to his credit, he's had two, I think, significant changes throughout his short tenure. We don't talk about Nebraska's fumbling anymore.
We don't.
So they identified that after year one, and they fixed that. Special teams. He fixed that.
Yeah.
What is his blank to fix going into year 4? But after UCLA, people started to second guess him, and he made some changes. This is the point of like, now you see the fork in the road, because like Gary said, and many others have said, it's tough to generate buzz because people are like, oh yeah. Well, you could show me that you have an All-American that you got out of the portal, and people are like, oh yeah, but this is Nebraska, so that means they're going to regress. So a little bit of stubbornness, and we're all stubborn, and a lot of coaches are stubborn in their ways. And the ones that adapt and adjust seem to have success, and they're not always the same year after year. Is you changed when people first started doubting you, and you sensed it, Now you know that people are like, damn, if I go to Buck's Bar, they're going to be like, nah, you're not getting in the special room. You got to come sit up here at the bar. So is there a sense of urgency on how you attack 26? The schedule is what it is, okay? There's no gimme. The MAC trio is not even a gimme, okay? The Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Illinois, Washington are all on the schedule. So, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, you're not changing that.
Yeah.
But do you attack it with a sense of urgency? And then also there's a part of pride that, okay, they gave me an extension and we promptly went 1-3.
Sure.
So if you are stuck in that, there's more scrutiny on the deal that is out there. Okay, the deal that is out there. So it's a lot of like looking internally of, I was a front man, now I got to be a football coach because front men don't win a lot of games. The football coach wins games. So the psychobabble of this, I hate this BS. Is this is the rule. This is like now the time that we all get to see rule in action. And this place can break you.
It can.
But it also can be a place that you use and you elevate. But does he have enough people around him to elevate the program as a whole? Because I don't think he can do it on his own.
I just think the one frustrating part is, Gary, is that this show, Gary and Matt, began on December 8th. Okay. And on December 8th, we
That's
were
next week.
Yeah.
Cake.
We were talking about edgy Matt Rule. After UCLA, he was edgy Matt. And like that's good for the program. He's going to make these decisions. It's not been a year. And we're talking about kind of the same concept of him having to fail and him having to go through adversity and him having to be questioned in order to step his game up and to make right decisions. It just will always boil down to, I want edgy Matt all the time. I want fired up Matt Rule all the time. I have a pride in my, in how much I'm getting paid and how much people believe in me and all the time.
You want, and many others want, if we die, we die.
Yes.
You want the guy that is on the video in the locker room to be the guy on the sideline.
Yes.
Okay. The guy that in the locker room says, if we die, we die. There's no indecisiveness because if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Okay. It's not like, I don't know about today if I'm going to die. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want the guy that is on the videos to be the guy that is in the coach on the field, that there is no indecisiveness, that you're like, okay, it's fourth down. Let's don't jack around here. And are we going to take a timeout or not? We're going for it. All right. We're going for it. This is the play. There's no indecisiveness because, again, I look at Iowa as an example. And hey, Tim Lester has bought Kirk Ferentz some time. That's an offense. They score 40 points a game. I got 7 times this year? They score 40 or more?
I don't know.
Is that more than Nebraska?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Tim Lester has
Nebraska
helped Kirk
scored
Ferentz.
40 twice.
I mean, does Rule have a Tim Lester, a guy that can help you elevate in an area where you're not strong? But I go back to a point I made earlier in the show. Your football team is a direct reflection of you. Look at Bo. We liked about Bo because, man, those guys played hard.
Yeah.
They bam.
Yeah.
They bam.
Yeah.
But when things got squeezed on the sidelines and it came haywire, what happened to that team on the football field? So it's you gotta, this is a moment. This is a good moment for the guy that is the head football coach in Nebraska that's not going anywhere. Let's find out who you are.
I agree. But I would like him to be, and maybe it's too much to ask, but I would like him to be like this the entire time. I would like to get the same product over and over again, week in and week out.
All right. Before we go to the break, here is Joe in Las Vegas. A month from now, we're going to be hanging out with Joe. Good morning.
Gary, how the hell are you doing, brother?
Joe, you know what? It's wonderful to talk to you.
It's been a while.
It has been.
Since the Damon days.
Yes, I know, but now that we're coming to visit you.
That was exactly what I was going to ask. Is the 1620 pain train of Gary and Matt going to come out here and grace us with your greatness and your knowledge and presence?
I'm telling you right now, that'd be a hell of a vlog series of Gary Sharp teaching me Vegas. Of my first Vegas trip being with Gary. I don't think people would.
Matt, if you come out here, I can do that for you too.
Joe, I will reach out to you. I
Joe
am
is a mayor of Vegas.
I am coming to Vegas officially in April. That is happening. We have the boys. We have the horses.
Now the problem is I have failed Josh and Connor.
A
couple times that they were supposed to be here. I had promised to come down and see them, and I had some commitments that came up. So I have failed them both, but I need to make amends if they ever do come back out here. But Are they now? That's the question. I don't want to talk about all the doom and gloom. All I'm going to say is this: is that Dabo Swinney started off a little shaky at Clemson, and we all know how that worked out. I'm not saying that Matt Rule's a Dabo Swinney, because there's a lot of other elements and variables there that play into it that Dabo didn't ever have. But we'll see what happens there. Is there what Gary? This is why I called, because you are. It seems like on these type of things, the knowledge that normally ends up being right. What's the likelihood of them coming out here? And are we going to hopefully get a Jeff Sims Nebraska game? Or because I watched him play against Arizona last night or the other night, and I'm like, that's the Jeff Sims I remember.
Yeah.
I want that guy. I want this guy.
So
or are we going to get bludgeoned? Are we going to get bludgeoned by Utah?
Well, I'd rather go against Jeff Sims.
That'd be.
Me too.
So there's a strong interest from Vegas. You, my good friend Mr. Busman, would love us to come out there. There is a strong interest from Vegas because of New Year's Eve and Nebraska's presence on the West Coast. Not necessarily people that would come from here, but out west. Nebraska is very, very popular. Brett McMurphy is a guy that's tied into all the bowls, and he's been that way for a long time. People roll their eyes and go, well, you do this every Monday. Well, he knows a lot of the bowl reps.
Yeah.
So it's trending towards Las Vegas. It kind of depends on what happens at top. But Vegas pick comes before Nashville. So if Nebraska is there, I think Vegas takes Nebraska, and they're out there on New Year's Eve in the late afternoon.
It's a 12:30 kick here. So the 12:30 kick here. So you get the game over with by 4. And then obviously, if you've been out to Vegas, Gary, I know you know, they close down the Strip and New Year's and all the things that it's a buffet for the eyes. And I'll just how's that?
All right, Joe.
Thanks,
Joe, thanks for the call. If we're out there, I think I'm going to try and make it.
Do you know what's really funny? I never heard the term gong show other than hockey locker rooms until I started working with you. Like, you are the only other person outside of the hockey locker room that just calls things gong shows. Which is why you always get a chuckle out of me.
So I mean, if you're going out there, it's going to be expensive on New Year's Eve because that's just what Vegas is. In Nebraska, Utah. So you could go to Nashville and have Lane Kiffin suck everything out of that bowl because LSU or Mizzou would be your opponent.
Oh God. Yeah, I'd rather go to Vegas. I think Vegas would be good. I think Vegas would be fun.
Vegas picks before Nashville.
I think Vegas would be a ton of fun. I think a lot of people would go out to Vegas and lose all your money and then watch the Huskers, play Utah.
Yeah. I mean, Nebraska would, from that part of the country, Nebraska would draw very well into Vegas. And there's a lot of people around here that, hey, that's their second home is out in Vegas.
So you're going to go?
I would think about going.
We need a vlog. That'd be funny.
I don't want people to know what I do.
That'd be no, you don't have to do 24/7. Just be like, hey, you're great we did the whole TikTok with like Sweet 98 and you're the only one who gave like a funny soliloquy. You'd be good. You'd be a good vlogger. Go ahead and vlog it. Put like a 2-minute vlog together.
Let me just look. Let's hop on
you going into
Vegas here.
You go into the Miami club equivalent in Vegas. That'd be a great time.
I could go to Live Lounge in Vegas, which doesn't I mean, the only equivalent in the country to the entertainment in Vegas is Miami.
I believe that. I wouldn't know. I haven't been to either place.
Okay. Let's get out of here on. Let's leave on a Sunday.
Okay. All right.
And let's come back on the first. Let's hop on Southwest.
Okay.
Because there's nothing like coming back from Vegas on that Southwest flight that just smells of despair. All right. Cigarettes. Okay. Not bad.
How much?
About 3. Well, okay. I gotta get the others.
Round trip.
Okay. Let's see here.
By the way,
I'm gonna go for less.
Southwest going to assign seating is such a joke. You gotta, how we talk about having an identity, right? Southwest now has as much of an identity as
about
Nebraska football.
Bucks,
$600.
$600 for a round trip on Southwest,
and that's not even with hotel.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It's on ESPN if you're wondering. Okay. When we come back, Mike.
That was quick.
Mike.
That was a real quick idea. Hey, Joe, I'm thinking about going out there. One Google search later. You know what? I hear ESPN's going to have Marvin Jones on there. Be a good call, I bet.
Mike, stay right there. We'll get to you when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, 1620 The Zone has all the deals for you for Cyber Monday. Each hour, a different half-off deal you can take advantage of. So at 9 o'clock, Backlot Tap House. What do you don't have your headphones on. What are you looking for? Backlot
we got a new one. Yeah.
Backlot Tap House at 9 o'clock. 10 a.m., Craft Axe Throwing. 11 a.m., Early Bird. 12 p.m., Rib Shack. 1 p.m., Langfelt Overhead Door. 2 p.m., Le Voltaire. 3 p.m., Omaha Children's Museum. 4 p.m., Site 1 Brewing. And at 5 o'clock, the Trot Room. Go to 1620thezone.com, and every hour at those times that I named, you can go ahead and get a half-off deal you can take advantage of. All right, we go to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Mike, hey, man, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you? Good
I'm
morning.
Mike, how can we help you?
Well, hey, first off, as a Packer fan, the Bears, they got a big break with Wyatt being freaking gone for the year. That's tough on Green Bay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, true.
Nebraska deal, we can do the gloom and doom over and over and over. So I'm just calling you, Gary. Help me.
Okay.
Help me as a Nebraska fan have hope. I haven't felt this hopeless, this down for a long time. I mean, we've been bad for a long time, but there's always seemed to be oh, well, we got this coming. We got, Dylan's coming, or Dylan's going to be a second year, or whatever it was a long time ago, whatever. There's always seemed to be some type of hope. New coach, new something. Help me, because there's nothing. I see nothing. I see a harder schedule. I see Matt Rule, the raw guy, which he's awesome at, and then nothing. I mean, can we get I don't know, a new coach? Justin Wilcox just got fired. He'd be a good defensive coordinator. Can we get something to give us hope? And then one other thing too.
Okay, well, let me answer. Let me answer that part first. I think that's a tough question, because ask me that question again in a month after the bowl game, because there may be changes on the staff and there may be some roster changes that you might be able to answer more of those questions. I think, unfortunately, Mike, now I am one, and I am lonely here. I am a minority, and I know that they have issues stopping the run. And this year was a complete mess, and they fanned Mr. George, Mr. Moore were not the answer. Judy was not the answer. They had guys on the defensive line were playing the wrong position. Riley Van Poppel is not a nose, okay? And it showed. And I think guys that got thrown into the fire, they're going to stick with. It's going to take some patience through the offseason to stick with them, and they're going to benefit from getting bludgeoned in 25 with those guys getting to play more in 26, because they'll be a year older, they have more experience, and they will be stronger. So I'm trying to sell that to you, but they need an addition, and they've, of course, they have to find guys on the outside, pass rush, and setting the edge. But let me wait a month before I answer that question, because things could change and there might be something pop up. But I also think it also has to depend on who your quarterback is, because then that'll frame how they want to go about their offense.
Yeah, I don't even really care, I guess, who's the quarterback, because you're right. I mean, it would be great to have them both, because they were both talented. One's probably better. He's just slow, and the other one just needs more experience. But so that, to me, whatever. But I doubt, like everybody else doubts, we're going to have both of them back. So, but anyway, the other thing too is, you and I are probably the same age, pretty close. From Iowa, mid-50s, I'm guessing.
Sure.
And what happened to earning money? Why did Troy Bannon get that? What was the purpose of that extension? Was it the Penn State thing? Was he worried about? Because I don't know, money needs to match up with production. You know, I guess,
So here's with the extension, and Penn State was never a thing. Okay. So I think the extension, and now it became kind of interesting. If you have to buy somebody out, there's a lot of guaranteed money in there.
Yeah.
I think the extension was more for the commitment to the program, not the commitment to the coach, because the coach wanted extra resources. And by committing to the coach, that opened up the door to go get more resources to give them what they want to be able to go and shop for this upcoming off season. I think it was more the extra. The extension was for the program. It also benefited the guy that got the extension, if you know what I mean.
I guess, but 32 is a long ways away.
Well, there's also the guaranteed part of it too. But here's the thing: is right now we all go, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you don't back that up and start winning, we go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it not only takes down Rule, it also takes down Dannon.
Well,
so
right.
Yeah.
How many? I mean, I knew you guys did your 1.5.
Yeah, Matt brought that
coaches being let go. Yeah, Matt did. What do you think? What are you going, the over or the under?
I'd probably go the over, Mike, but I don't think it's going to be a 2 coaches get let go and 2 coaches are replaced. I think that they're going to do a full. At least I hope they do a full autopsy of the program and they say, hey, this guy who's more experienced in this position, wherever it may be, we're going to go ahead. We're going to bring this guy in. And then I do think that they could lose a coach, to the craziness that is going to happen in this carousel. I mean, all these different jobs. I mean, there's more jobs that are going to be open that are going to be pretty prestigious. And I think that there are some guys across Nebraska's coaching staff that has previous connections that could get poached. So I think I would go over, and I would think it'd be a mix of both.
All right. One last thing.
Yep.
I have heard.
Do you feel better?
I'm not an insider. I'm not an insider by any means, but I have heard very good things about the young defensive line coach. I've heard that he's going to be good.
He probably could have used some more help from his head coach, who that's his expertise.
Yep.
Well, Mike, thanks for the phone call. Now, I know. Okay, this is going to be an eye roll thing, and this isn't me hanging on defensive line. I'm not hanging on it, but I'm just telling you, it's not super doom. There are some young guys that did not play this year. Okay, Mr. Jones, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Terry. Okay, they have Mills. There are some guys that in last year's class that we liked that didn't see the field for one thing or another. Now Mr. Simpson, who looks like he's got a family and he's got a portfolio and all that, he was injured. It's going to be a big spring. Now, you hope that those guys stick around, that we didn't get to see play full time, but there's a glimpse there that they will take the next step. That's why it all goes back to coaching. I mean, Nebraska's got to have guys that elevate players, okay? That elevate them on a daily basis, that they don't flinch, they don't blink, they're not soft between the earlobes.
Sure. And
they just go out and ball. And when they have to make a play, they make a play. It's not all on coaches on Saturdays in this program. When guys had chances to make plays this year, why didn't they make plays? Was it the player? Did we have a misaligned? Nebraska on Friday had a lot of alignment issues on defense. That Iowa picked them apart. That was not necessarily the case at the beginning of the year. What happened at the back end of the year? I mean, these are all hard questions that have to be answered. But I keep going back. I think 2026 is a headset year.
So for me, and I understand where you're coming from, and you got a good eye for that stuff. And I'm not pushing back at the possibility that they're going to have some younger guys that didn't play this year who could be contributors. But I think for me, and this isn't just a D-line thing, this is kind of an everybody thing. I'm just putting less stock and less trust that players are going to develop the way I think they can, or the way I'm being told.
And that's the way to go through the offseason, is until you see it, I'm not buying it anymore, and I've stopped that. And then you're going to check in June and go, man,
I think I bought.
Good. I saw him in 7.
But well, I did that with Trey Taylor. But the thing is that I think I bought at a higher rate because we were told, hey, this is what Matt Rule does. Matt Rule brings in talent. Deion Dawkins, Hassan Reddick, Jalen Petrie, Tyquan Thornton. Like, he brings in this dudes, so I thought, okay, hey, I'm going to buy at a higher rate that these guys are getting better because this is what he's known for. Well, he has not performed from a player development rate at that high level. Okay. So I'm not saying that no one gets developed, but I'm no longer of the belief that Matt Rule is this super duper diamond in the rough finder, advanced development guy, because he's been here for 3 years. And if we're going to that standard, he hasn't reached that standard. They haven't had those draft picks. They haven't had those all Big Ten players.
So along those lines, and I'm right there with you. And by the way, Ed just goes, who else would you say? I'm telling you, don't touch that wide receiver room. Do not just bring in a plethora of bodies. They got some young guys.
I think you could bring in one.
Quinn Clark, Mills. They will bring in one.
Yeah.
But
Hunter's still great, man.
Let's check with Ja'Cory Barney. I know you hate returning kickoffs. Okay. Let's check. Hey, let's make sure you're good. Hey, we good? Is that what they say? We good?
We good.
We good?
We good.
Okay.
That is
that wide receiver room is young, and let those guys play. But there's also Tom Mua, Torres on the offensive line. Here's what in 2026, what would benefit this program greatly, and they're going to need a multitude of these. Who is the next Emmett Johnson?
Yeah.
Who is the next Justin Evans?
They need
quietly who has developed. But who is the guy that played a little bit this year that blows up next year?
Yeah.
Who is that guy? We don't know who that guy is.
I hear you.
All right.
I hear you. But my problem is, though, Gary, is that I wanted that to happen in season. I wanted to see, oh, hey, Keona Davis. Okay, look, he looks a little good in this Michigan game. And then Keona turns into oh my God, this guy is all
I don't
Big Ten.
think my whole thing this year was, does Nebraska close the gap from where they're at the end of last year to the upper tier? They did not.
No.
Okay, so they failed on that. I don't think the program got better as the season went along as a whole. I think they're the same team that played in Arrowhead, that played on Friday.
That is so bad.
There are individuals that got better. They just didn't get better quick enough or consistent enough.
I agree.
We're not going to talk about Cunanan. He hit 3 field goals in terrible conditions the other day. That was okay. Archie his numbers don't look great, but what they asked him to do to play the field position game, I thought he did really well.
Even though he didn't know the rules of football, which was great.
Yeah.
He did not know that you could not hit that guy out of bounds. He had no clue. It was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I was mad, but I go, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, they had some individual stories.
They did.
But as a program, did they get better as the season went along?
Okay.
And did not happen.
Do you want an asinine question?
Because
for me?
What do you do in November? You either are finished in November or you finish. 1-3, 2-10 tells me that's a problem. Why is that a problem?
I'll save my asinine question for later in the offseason, but it has kind of something to do
with a long
them.
offseason.
I know.
You gonna forget it by then?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because I've had this asinine question in the I'll tell it to you off air, and you're gonna do the deepest eye roll of all time. But we only have 15 minutes left in the show, so I can't put a spark to the keg yet.
The other thing that hurts with Nebraska here is, so you come off a Friday and it's once again a loss to Iowa, but just the way the season ended is okay. Sell me hope, because we sell it in the media.
Yeah.
We're guilty of that. We make a lot of money here at NRG because we sell hope. Is when you get to Wednesday, you don't have a very big class, and everybody's eyes will go to the rankings, and you'll be either last or next to last in an 18-team league.
Oh, and they'll let you know.
And they'll be like, this has the makings of a guy that's going to get fired. So, it's rules going to be squeezed, and we're going to find out. The real person, the real thing comes out when you get squeezed. And I'm saying that's a negative. I'm just curious to see how he handles it, because people are doubting him. People are like, no, this ain't it. And you're like, well, I've been here for 3 years. Ain't it, pal? Ain't it, pal? So what magic do you have? That's why it's the month of rule.
I'm not looking for magic. I'm just looking for consistent improvement.
Yeah. Well, and that you won't get and be able to see until August.
I know.
Like your actions. Like, we know some things have to change on your staff. Is it going to take the fans pushing you towards a special teams? Or are you going to say, I'm one step ahead of you, Clyde?
Yeah. Probably the former.
All right. This has been a fun show, everybody. We got a whole off season. We got Matt's asinine questions.
We do. That should be a segment. That should be a weekly segment.
Matt's
asinine questions.
Seems to be an hour. Every hour, every day.
That's just every show.
All right, we're back to put a wrap on this one on 1620 The Zone.
Still offended you said my hair was bad. It's very rude of you.
Your hair?
My hair.
You always say your hair is
Many
bad.
people are saying. Ooh.
Looks good.
You might have the most hair of anyone on the zone.
Looks good.
Nice scalp you got there. Giving is open for Giving Tuesday, 402 at shareomaha.org. Fantastic organization we're familiar with. You're invited to join in and donate to local nonprofits to help shape the community you want to live in. Now more than ever, local causes need all of us to be part of the giving what we can and supporting our neighbors. When you donate daily today until December 1st, which is today, you could help your favorite causes win a $500 donation. For more information, just go to shareomaha.org. I got a Zach Bryan email here.
Oh, wait, is that today?
No. The Bananas, by the way,
been getting emails from them.
The Bananas will not let you know if you won the lottery or not until March.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's an update on that.
March?
Fear before you know it.
Yeah, they someone on Friday told me that the Savannah Bananas got well over 100,000 requests for tickets to the Memorial Stadium game.
That is tough. That is a lot. How many people are they going to fill? They're going to fill out the whole stadium, right? So it'll be 85, or are they cutting
No, I think the way
off-
they are configuring it, it'll be 80-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still though, 80,000 people for the Savannah Bananas is good for them.
Yeah.
Good
People-
for
people
the
love fun.
Bananas.
Yeah. Hey, you asked earlier, Winthrop is a quad 2 win for Nebraska.
Wow. Good for
Yeah.
Winthrop.
Yeah.
Good for Nebraska.
Yeah.
And was Kansas State? Was that what was that? I don't know what. These
Right now, Oklahoma, K-State are quad 2s.
Okay. Okay.
But Kansas State, who plays tonight in Manhattan, I think pretty good non-con game. They would move up 5 spots.
You did say the Big Ten's going to win the Final Four this year.
What neutral site
Hell
wins?
yeah.
Neutral site Q1 wins are top 50, correct? And then aways is top 75. Okay.
That is at the end of the week. That is on Sunday, which
So-
will be very interesting in this radio station.
Nebraska's going to be a Q1 win for Creighton,
Yeah.
hypothetically.
Yes.
How many times
Did you
has
just call your shot?
No.
Oh.
I don't know that they basically Creighton and Nebraska this year flip roles going into this
They
game.
have.
Yeah.
Like Nebraska is going to be the favorite. There's a lot of vibe going for
Yeah.
Nebraska.
And Creighton needs to
Creighton
win.
is like they're
Those
going to
upstart Blue Jays.
Yeah. No, that's like the scary part for Fred is because this is the year that people go, oh, Nebraska should win. Last 2 times they come up to Omaha, they're like, even the Superstars game.
They thought that was a lot of hype going into that game. A lot. There was optimism going into
That
that
went
game. I called
sideways
that
fast.
game. I
Bam!
was on the call. I know,
I
but
knew.
I was on the call for that game.
I
There was a ton
I
of
just didn't like that
optimism.
matchup.
A lot of filler.
And
There was
it was
so much filler.
I'm right once a year, and I was right in that
We
one.
started talking about
Scores
Allie
down by
Babenhorst
39.
on that
We'll be right back.
on
Yeah?
that broadcast. Yeah, because they were down 28.
All right, we'll definitely talk about volleyball. Nebraska and Creighton have their paths to get to Kansas City. 6 wins for Nebraska to cement their legacy. National championship or bust. Not even gonna get engaged in a conversation.
Not even
I like
discussed.
Creighton's draw too. Ryan Rosen, man, they get hosted at home again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Coach Booth will be in the building. Got to think.
Yeah, they could play Northern Iowa in the second round, and there's Reese. Yeah, why do they do that, NCAA? NCAA, stop liking storylines. Pitt's draw is pretty good. We could get Texas Penn State in the second round.
Did you just tell a growing sport to stop playing into narratives?
I don't like storylines.
You don't like storylines?
It's not fair.
Breaking news.
It's not fair to KBB. It's not fair to Danny Busboom Kelly that she's got to face Louisville potentially to go to Kansas City.
Think
There'll be
juicy
emotions.
storylines.
I know those kids. I was in their home. I ate with them. I TikToked with them.
Exactly.
And now
And
I
then-
got to beat them
now you
to
gotta-
continue the run of the
Yeah.
greatest volleyball season in the history of Nebraska volleyball.
Yes, a warrior doesn't need a weapon. A warrior is the weapon.
You know what a warrior that whatever he does with his weapon needs? Points! And wins on Black Friday. All right, good show, everybody. This conversation is going to carry on. We'll be back again tomorrow at 6. Crossover is coming up next.